Starts right now. Here's Jeff Cameron.
The Seminole Headlines, as the man said, begins right now. 93.3 Real Talk Radio, Warchant TV. Good to be with you. Good to be undefeated. It's good to not lose to Middle Tennessee State. It's just good to be a Nole right now. Florida State 4-0. That's Ira and Corey in the other room. We begin. Hey, in a second, we have a reveal. Ira, you already know what it is. Corey, I think you do too, but we have a reveal here in a second. Let's start, though, with our friends at Register Sausage. Yay, sausage! Easy to do now, man. The promo codes are getting kicked out left and right.
Yeah,
Just
man, every
boom,
week.
boom, all the time.
I'm worried about Ben.
What was it this week? What was the code?
I think it might have been Benson.
Oh, okay. All right.
That's a good code.
And I think that's for 25% off of your order at Register Sausage. Registermeats.com is the website. And I'm worried about he's getting so caught up in the emotion. He's giving the store away. He's going crazy.
Yeah.
He's crazy Ben. Bonkers Ben.
Yeah, that's right.
Like a
He's
car
be locked
salesman.
up in an insane asylum.
Well, if we get to 5-0, who knows? He may just sell it to us for $1. The whole
that's
kit
right.
and caboodle.
Yeah. $1, limited time only.
That's it.
If you live in Florida, of course, right now it might be tough getting in the grocery stores in Florida. There's
Some of them, yeah.
Some of the grocery stores might have some lines, but
Yeah.
probably not for the sausage.
No.
Like while everybody else is fighting for the water and the toilet paper and whatever else they're fighting over, go to the Register Sausage and get all the sausage you want. All the great andouille, all the delicious cheddar and jalapeno sausages.
I had
the
some
plain.
at a tailgate on Saturday before I went over to
Before
Indigo.
you came over to
Stopped by
Hotel
a
Indigo?
tailgate,
Yeah.
and they had a jalapeno cheddar for me.
Good
Nicely
It
done.
was great. And I'll be honest, I hadn't eaten a lot of sausage in the last 6 or 7 months because of things. But man, it was good to get back on the horse.
And you didn't feel like you felt good afterwards.
I felt
You're
great.
all good.
I wondered why I hadn't been eating more sausage.
There we go. There we go.
Registermeats.com is the website. And like we said, they've got that promo code throughout the week. I think it's all caps Benson. I'll double check, but I think it's all caps Benson, and you get 25% off.
All right, so right off the bat, we doff the cap to Bill, who just decided to say, here you go, boys. Thank you, Bill.
All right, Bill.
Appreciate
Thanks,
you
buddy.
getting the show started with a bang. And now it gives me a chance to segue here to this. So our friend of the program here, Hollowell Woodcrafting is his business. It's Ken. We know him as Ken. We just call him Ken.
Right.
Ken Hollowell. He last year, I don't know if you guys can see it in the other room there on Ira's cam. Sometimes you can during the JCS.
It's too high.
It's too high. But
It's
that
above,
one
there's
there,
another one above Corey's head.
Yeah.
In the corner.
And so that one says what? Top 60, smoke them if you got them. What was it?
Top 60
Top
defense.
60 defense.
2021 top 60 defense.
Right. Yeah. So we got a wood carving of that.
And same with the top 60 offense on the other side, because that's all we were shooting for last year. Just try to get in the top
modest
60.
goals, guys.
Yeah.
And
modest goals.
And so he's carving this into existence. Like he hears us talking about it. He carved it last year. They weren't top 60 when he carved it.
No, he carves it, and then when it happens, we put them on the walls in the studio.
And so this one he did a couple weeks ago. We were talking about Florida State being a top 25
How soon
team.
could we be a top 25 team? That's right. I always said, well, if they go 4-0, they're probably going to be in the top 25. Well, guys, here you go right there on camera. Look at that work.
That's
Look at
crazy,
that. How good
man.
is that? Can we please run the flea flicker? Is what it says down there at the bottom. 2022 AP NCAA top 25. Now, listen, we don't stop there. This is where we lived forever.
Yeah. He better be carving a top 5 win in November.
Yeah, soon he'll be carving a new national championship one. But for now, look at how beautiful that is.
That really is incredible.
Yeah, he does incredible work. And Hollowell Woodcrafting is the name of the.
But he always tells me don't even promote it. He's not doing it for that.
I did that on my own.
I know.
I did it on my own because he's been so kind. He just donates these things to the cause while listening to the show. And whenever we harp on something or get our mind to something, he decides to carve it into existence, as Ira correctly pointed out. And he carved this. And, here's the thing, like you said, never asked for anything. I showed up to work over a week ago. It was just sitting on my desk over there. They're like, oh, somebody sent this to you. I was like, my man, look at this. Here we go. So it's a beautiful thing. Florida State is indeed in the top 25. More importantly, they just keep winning games and looking better and better in doing so. And I'm crossing my fingers because we're going to get this question a lot today. Whether or not the game's going to be played, I don't know the answer to that definitively. I don't think any of us do. Judging from a distance, as we all can, anecdotal evidence and the information we have, it doesn't look like the game will need to be moved. But knock on wood, and we'll have to wait.
Knock
and see.
on the carving.
We can, but we don't know for sure. I want to play the game for a lot of reasons. Obviously, not at the expense of people's safety and all that other stuff. We understand. There's a lot of people. My parents live down in Bradenton. My grandmother lives in St. Petersburg.
Are they coming up, by the way? Are they evacuating a Hope?
So where they are, they've got my grandmother. They took her out of Treasure Island and St. Pete there. They've moved over. They're safe right now. I don't know where they're going to end up, but right now they're safe. So, and we're wishing all of that for all of you guys,
yes, absolutely,
all over the state that are preparing for this, and obviously take it seriously and do what you have to be safe. But
Corey's offered anybody that wants to stay with him.
Just come on up.
Yeah. I mean, there's an age range, clearly.
Yeah, 18 to 25-year-old women
no,
are all free to come right on up.
25 to 35.
Gotcha,
come on, man. I'm not a creep.
You're not DiCaprio.
No, exactly.
This in 2018.
And also, Stephanie watches this and listens to this. So that was a funny joke.
Yeah.
It's a funny joke we just had. But, yeah, man, anybody, I do hope people get out of the way, man. Don't be a hero. Get out of the way especially if you're within a flooding range.
Oh, sure. Right. Well, I think that's common sense.
But
right?
Don't you think, look, just the vibe you get looking at the way it's tracking, looking the way other college football, like Florida moved theirs to Sunday.
And they're going to get
much more.
They're going to get a lot more. They're going to get a lot of rain.
I think there's talk about, schools in South Carolina moving their games or North Carolina moving their games. So the fact that they're doing it, you wouldn't think that Tallahassee right now looks like it's in the clear. It seems like it would be foolhardy to move to not play this game where there might be other ACC games that can't be played. And the ACC will really want this game to be played. So will ESPN.
Yeah, I hope. And again, I'm not trying to be callous or crass in any way. We understand the human aspect of all this. But honestly, from a business standpoint, from a timing standpoint, it would really behoove Florida State to play this football game against Wake Forest on Saturday. I think Florida State's in a great position to compete in this game and to win this game against the Wake Forest team coming off a double overtime loss to Clemson.
Yeah.
I also think that there's a real good chance that if you move this game, the situation is very, very different. So for now, I mean, again, purely talking about football and a little bit of revenue here, I am saying that I hope they get to play the game. They're going to take a hit either way, by the way, with the revenue part of this, because not a lot of people are going to be able to travel if they're currently located, say, South Florida, Orlando, those places.
And it's a tough thing to talk about because
it makes you saying like an ass.
Exactly. And Swiss Irish just said in the chat, Swiss Irish one, that how serious Michael was.
Oh yeah.
And man, when I was driving to New Orleans, I was looking at some of the trees that are still down from Michael. Yeah. I mean, that
shocking. I drove by like 3 weeks after it happened. That was shocking. It was stunning.
Yeah, no, it's scary stuff. It's to be taken seriously. And I think most people understand that. We hope. And it does make you feel silly talking about football, but at the same time, this is a sports talk show that we do, and that team is undefeated, playing very well, and we're all excited with the momentum that's been garnered because of it, and how proud I think Florida State fans are of this team with the way that they play and the confidence that it's building. They want to see the game, of course, not at the expense of anybody's safety, but right now it looks like they'll probably play this game, but that could change.
The only worry you think, you never know with hurricanes for sure, but the only worry you really have is like people that were planning on coming to this game.
That's what I mean.
Leaving on Friday.
Yeah.
Well, you can't probably do that now.
Well, I had family coming up for this game that have already told me I'm not.
Well, I would hope more than anything if you are planning to come up, leave tonight, leave tomorrow, get up here. I mean, I know hotels are outrageous for football games, but maybe they wouldn't be so bad on a Wednesday or Thursday in Tallahassee, and it wouldn't be that. But I just. Don't be a hero and drive through this thing on Friday night trying to get here. That would be rough.
Just for my enjoyment, could you read Marcus's post in the chat in Brian Kelly voice?
I don't know that I can get all the way into character this early in the show.
Just give it a shot.
Dear Jeffrey, I wish you and your family a safe vacation.
Evacuation.
Perhaps they could travel by way of the mighty flea flicker.
Is that Brian Kelly?
That is just a South Carolinian sort of accent there. Noel Kev, thank you. Bring in Middle Tennessee State to handle the Hurricane. Undefeated Middle Tennessee State all time against the University of Miami. 3-0.
They own the Canes.
Never trailed in any game ever against the University of Miami. Middle Tennessee has never trailed.
They didn't. They that was not fluky. What happened on Saturday?
Hey, listen, there are culture issues. It's interesting. By the way, let's go big perspective here for a second, because I think this is part of why so many Florida State fans, besides the wins, are so excited. We know how hard it is to get things flipped. It's so failed once. I mean, once Jimbo left, we failed miserably the next go around, and we weren't sure this was going to work out. I mean, coming into this season, you're kind of like, well, you better get it winning, because you know that if it doesn't happen early, it can maybe Never happened. And it's funny, since we've moved to On3, Director Matthew here does a great job producing so many different shows. I've had the opportunity to branch out and do some other type things with other On3 properties. When you listen to people at Texas, I'll use Texas as an example. Man, that situation right now with Sark already in year 2 ain't good. Their fans are like, no, man, I'm not seeing it.
It's a bad loss.
It's an ugly loss, and they lost a ton last year. They weren't any good.
Yeah.
They've had a moment each of the first 2 years where they thought, oh, it's not getting better. It's not getting better. It was a fluke. Their fans are angry. Like the people that pay the bills are our players don't believe in this guy.
But after what you saw happen here the last 2 years, don't you have some sympathy for schools going? Not Miami.
No, none. None for Miami.
No sympathy for those guys.
But you can understand, how difficult this process can be.
Well, it's also why you feel a sense of relief like this is happening right now the way it is, because you don't want to start over. You end up starting over in perpetuity in some cases. See Nebraska. So, you're watching this. It's interesting. I mean, Miami after that loss, now listen, nobody goes to those games anyhow, but they have to be like, it's year 1, but still, what the hell was that? That looked like a team completely disinterested in playing the football game.
What hurts, it's not just the loss. It's the the loss is a big part of it. But you had a really good quarterback then last year, and he's terrible right now.
Well, yeah, they benched him.
But he
wasn't
looking good against anybody.
I brought it up last week. He hasn't played well yet this year.
He was really good last year and thought of as like a potential first-round pick, and then you bring in a new offense that clearly he doesn't get or want to play in or just doesn't fit. That's not great. That's not a great look. You've got to tailor what you're doing towards your talent. And he's a talented kid, or at least I thought he was. Maybe that was a 6-game aberration.
Well, on the other side of the ball, you bring in Kevin Steele, whatever they're paying him, and you just got torched.
They did anything they wanted.
Torched.
Yeah, so it's great to watch Miami go through that. Everybody else you have a little empathy for, but not Miami.
Well, they probably didn't. They probably made fun of Florida State a little bit last September, I would think.
Until they lost to Florida State last year.
Well, right, yeah.
But I would just note that, I mean, it is another way to look at the current success is that you feel like you're coming out of that very dangerous area where if it doesn't take hold, even if the coach is good, and there's always evidence. We see this all the time. There's evidence of coaches that are good coaches that have had successes elsewhere that don't make it work at their new place. So that's why we all, the three of us have said repeatedly, we thought Mike Norvell was a good football coach. Going to those practices, watching the way he operates, seeing the way that he conducts practice and talks to his players and teaches them and coaches them, the way that the coaches on the staff echo those sentiments, seem to be in line. We all thought, okay, I think the guy can coach. But we all also admitted that at some point, if the wins don't happen, it doesn't matter. He'll have to learn, he'll have to prove he can coach elsewhere, is what's going to end up happening because you reach a breaking point. And so coming out of that and seeing him successful right now, I mean, they could end up, let's say they lose. I don't think they will, but let's say they lose, 3 in a row. I still think this resonates. I still think people will say, no, they're better. We can see it. There's proof here.
I do wonder how much the goalposts move because coming into the season, everybody's like, man, 8-4. 8-4. Can you get to 8-4?
If you got to 8-4, would be a great year.
Well,
right now,
but now think about it. That means you go 4-4 in your last 8. So that's you're not going to be fired up about that.
But at the end of the year, if they're 8-4 going to a bowl, and let's say you don't get swept by Florida and Miami, I don't know. Right. I think people would say, okay, let me take a step back. Yeah.
But in the moment, they're going to be like, this has been a disappointment because, I think the goalposts have shifted, I think, because of this start. I think.
Yeah, it's interesting. It depends on how the games play out and all that other stuff. They've got a golden opportunity this weekend. I really do think you're getting Wake at a good time for both squads. Now, the only thing that I'm a little apprehensive about as we start the week here is, again, how many of the guys on defense are you getting back? In particular, now, I know Fabian Lovett is arguably your most important defender in the middle, but against this slow-developing mesh, it feels like Verse has to come back for this game to kind of wreak havoc. You need that guy because you don't really have anybody else. It was good to see Briggs take a step forward last week.
But it's weird. Like, you watch that game, and Clemson's got those guys. They've got multiple of those guys. And Tyler Davis had some plays where he just blew up what they were trying to do.
Yeah.
But, man, then they get right back on schedule. Like,
it's crazy.
It's not just –
they're relentless.
The perception I have always had of them, and even offenses kind of like that is, man, if you can just make that one tackle for loss, get them out of rhythm, get them off schedule, get them out of their tempo, and that's going to be a 3 and out, or you're going to stop that drive. But, man, because of the receivers, because of Hartman, they can eliminate those losses now. And you've got to win multiple downs to get them off schedule.
I thought it was a weird game, though, because Ira, when you go back and watch that game, the game starts exactly the way Clemson would want it to. They're destroying the offensive line for Wake Forest. They're putting pressure on Hartman. They get out to a 14-0 lead, so now they can dictate terms of the game. You're like, this is going to be a long day at the office for Wake Forest. And then they started to lose some guys in the secondary. They had a couple of empty drives. Wake played well on defense, and then that first score for Wake shifted everything. They were a one-possession game again, and they began to just kind of – also, Clemson decided at some point early, well, we're going to make you be patient early and run the ball. But once Wake got back into it, then they could do both. It was really fascinating to watch. I don't think the game plays out quite the same way this weekend if it's played. I actually am with you, Ira. I read your 3-2-1. I was prepared to have to argue with you. And then I read it and went, well, damn it, we're on the same page here.
What's the fun in that?
Yeah.
I'll bring up something we can argue. I'll come up with something we can argue about.
The thing about that game is, and I don't think anybody in a Florida State fan or media member, anybody that follows this team, thinks that this secondary has played great. Certainly the corners have played great. But, man, they've got to be better than Clemson's corners played.
Well, those corners got beat a lot.
That was ridiculous.
The one kid, I mean, you shouldn't really feel bad for anybody that's on football scholarship at Clemson. I mean, he has a pretty good life, but man, that was a long day.
You couldn't put somebody else in there just to give him a shot.
He got the PBU at the end though to win the game. He dropped the interception, but it was a PBU. But look, man, I think going into this game, you have to do something with the side judges and be like, you can't call pass interference every time there's a little bit of contact running down the sideline. That's not fair to DBs. There were some of those plays. Now there were a lot of.
That's part of how it works for Wake, though.
Exactly,
they throw it up,
and they know,
that,
especially at home. Remember the terrible one they had?
Oh man, it happens all the time.
But especially at home, you're going to hear groans from the crowd, and this side judge is going to be and throw the flag out.
How's he do it?
I don't want to be yell at me. Let me throw the flag.
Yeah.
I don't know. Hopefully, they're not throwing 5 pass interference penalties this week at Doak Campbell Stadium. Maybe Wake doesn't get those calls on the road. You have to hope because there's going to be contact. You can't not budge.
Well, I think part of the
guys.
problem is that Hartman, when he sees any one-on-one, he is going to throw it up, and he's going to throw it as high as he can throw it, and then it's going to come up short in some cases, and you're going to get that running in. It happens. And Florida State doesn't do that well against normal offenses.
I mean, it's hard to do.
Yeah. It's hard to do. And you would hope this is a week where you can be like, look, you got an opportunity to make a play on the ball. It's going to be up there for a while. You got a chance to make a play on the ball, guys.
And Fuller said as much yesterday. He talked about that a lot.
And I was going to say, we were watching practice this morning, and you could see the DBs. I mean, at one point, Corey was like, man, looks like last year. The DBs are breaking everything up.
Yeah, they dominated the receivers for large chunks today.
And Norvell talked about it afterwards. He said, that is a point of emphasis. I mean, all the time, but definitely this week because of those receivers and because of the way they play.
A lot to get to today on Seminole Headlines. We got a lot of questions, 5 pages I printed out right here, boys.
I got
nice. I want to get credit. Look at all these pages I printed out.
You going to read our man Z-Chan's?
I'm about to do it.
Sorry.
Let me conduct the show.
Sorry,
I've been doing this a while. I got this, all right? Good to see you, Z-Chan, as always. He writes, good day, fellas. Saw an awesome post about attention to details and Pokey Wilson faking a catch to throw a defender off. Do you guys see those things being coached during practice, or was that just a heads-up play by Pokey? Well, I see him well coached during practice. We've all seen him well coached.
Yeah, I've never seen them coach that, but I do know that they coach a lot of little details. And I remember one day during the summer, I never brought this up, but one day during the summer, I was walking in the parking lot, and Malik McLean was walking by, and Norvell was walking from the other, like in the other direction, and he's screaming across the parking lot like some instruction for something he should do.
Yeah,
I think Norvell had just been up like watching spring practice or something, like watching film, and saw something he wanted Malik to do differently as a receiver, and he was like, couldn't wait till the next time they met in person.
He started screaming it,
telling him across the parking lot. So yeah, I do think I wouldn't surprise me at all if that's been taught, but I think it may be more of a meeting room thing because we've never seen them teach that.
Yeah, and the play that he's talking about is I think it's the 4th and 9 to McDonald, right? And early in the game, it's a great throw, great route. It's like a 35-yard pass.
BC really wasn't interested in covering the tight end
at
for
all
much of the night.
But Pokey is running a vertical, and he looks up and acts like a ball's coming into his hands as the ball's being thrown to McDonald. So
the safety
scooted over and got out of the way a little bit.
Glorious thing, and it is attention to detail. And I think you could honestly say that even though we haven't seen that taught, if you just watch this team play through 4 games, they pay attention to detail. They do a lot of things really, really well. They execute what they're attempting to do each week pretty damn well. Seminole Headlines, 93.3 Real Talk Radio and Warchant TV continues in a moment.
Hey, this is Greg Tish. Here's something you might know about me. I don't drink coffee. I have never had a cup of coffee in my life. Well, that is until now. So why change now? Well, it's because my dear friend at Grassroots Coffee reached out to me after hearing me say that and insisted that I give his product a try. I've been making a huge mistake. The world of coffee is fascinating. I always thought coffee is coffee, you know? No, it's not. I have tried their coffee and it is fantastic. Now, I've got a fascination with learning more about the best coffee in our area. Grassroots Coffee is locally roasted, locally owned, and locally loved. You can find whole bean Grassroots Coffee on the local aisle at Publix, also in Whole Foods, but the best way to get this black gold is to order it online. They literally grind the fresh roasted beans to your preferred level, bag it, write the date on it by hand so you know the exact day your coffee was roasted. It doesn't get any more fresh than that. Order yours now. Just go to grassrootscoffee.com and choose the coffee you want and how you want it, and join me. Let's step up our coffee game together and also support a great local business.
Well. Hey, Jeff, look at this place.
Yeah. Well, doing well. It's been a while since I've seen you, brother, but, it hasn't been a while since I've been over to Gordo's. I go there on the regular because of you, Eddie.
Well, we keep you regular.
Well, that's true, but I think of Gordo's as a place to sit down, have a cold beer, talk to your friends, enjoy the sports, eat the delicious food. But I think of you as Uncle Eddie, a man who takes care of his people and takes care of the town.
I appreciate that, Jeff. Hey, and we'll keep you regular.
Gordo's, bringing the flavor and flair of Cuban food to Tallahassee since 1996.
There's fun to be had every night at the Corner Pocket. Take home prizes on Trivia Tuesdays and Beer Bingo Thursdays. And kickstart your weekend with Martini Fridays. Plus, happy hour runs every weekday and game day specials every time the Noles take the field. Watch all the best games at the Corner Pocket's Vegas wall, featuring 560 inches of flat screen TV heaven.
Oh, really?
The best food, the best drinks, and the best place to watch all the games. Tallahassee loves the Corner Pocket.
This is Kyle, Service Manager from Barano Heating and Air. Schedule an appointment from your mobile device to learn about our Total Comfort Service Program. With guaranteed same-day service, 15% off necessary repairs, and $25 berry bucks to use towards air filters and other products. Turn to the experts at Carrier and Barano Heating and Air. Any day, anytime, anywhere. Online at baranoac.com.
Florida license CAC 1816-186.
You were always more than my mom. You were my role model, my best friend, and biggest supporter. You filled my days with unconditional love. And you also prepared for the day when you couldn't be here. Because of the woman you were back then, I'm able to be the woman I am now. Your planning made this moment possible.
Set your family up for life. Southern Farm Bureau Life Insurance. Your friends for life.
This is Andy Cohen. When I was a law enforcement officer, I devoted my life to a career of service and protection. Who's protecting you? Give me a call. 850-671-FARM. That's 671-FARM. Helping you is what we do best.
Southern Farm Bureau Life Insurance Company, Jackson, Mississippi. Not licensed to do business in all 50 states.
Life is stressful. Dinner shouldn't be. That motto is why Register Sausage has been doing business in the Florida Panhandle and Lower Alabama for over 75 years. A proud sponsor of Seminole Headlines, Register Sausage always provides the best Southern smoked sausage to over 140 grocery stores and restaurants throughout the Southeast. Headliners have discovered the Register's difference. You can too. To find a store that carries Registers near you or to buy directly, head to registermeats.com. That's registermeats.com. Register Sausage. Yay, sausage!
Seminole Headlines returns now. Head to YouTube and search for Warchant TV today to catch the show live or on demand. Now, here's Jeff Cameron, Ira Schofel, and Corey Clark.
My bookie has a question, and it's this. You know football. You guys pick winners all the time. Why not get paid for them at my bookie? Bet single game spreads, money lines, or parlay multiple together to increase your payouts. Low contest entry fees and over $500,000 to be won. Make it so you don't have to become a pro gambler to have fun. Get started easy. Just visit mybookie.ag and use promo code WARCHANT on your first deposit to secure a double deposit bonus. That's simple. MyBookie is a proven sports book that makes it simple to bet and win. So make this your winning season exclusively at MyBookie. All right, boys. Let's pick a score for Saturday on the heels of MyBookie here. They play the game. Little wet, inclement conditions, maybe. Maybe we're not real sure. I don't know.
Well, last night, somebody told me that they were hearing, this was not a meteorologist, but it was somebody I was talking to at FSU, so that they were hearing maybe 1 to 2 inches of rain for Tallahassee. So not terrible.
Not terrible, right? That field drains pretty well.
I'm going to say I'm going Florida. We're picking the score, right?
Yeah,
I'm
sure.
Gonna go
A little early in the week, picking the score.
45-35, Florida State.
High scoring affair. Fair enough. That's seemingly on line with Vegas.
I'm going to say 33-27.
A little lower scoring affair, huh? You going with the under 2? You going to couple that with the under because it was 64.5 to start the week.
I guess I'm going with the under 2. And I also didn't say who I think's going to win. So just on that. You just asked for a score. You didn't ask for a winner.
I like 41-34 Florida State.
Okay. Right. You guys like this offense. This offense is doing some things.
I hate Wake's defense, and I really like this offense.
Yeah.
So, and the only reason I went as low as 41 is the weather.
Here's something with the offense I was thinking about. So remember when a former head coach was here that had a lot of success between 2010 and 17,
I remember that guy.
There?
Yeah, I knew that guy.
Remember how we used to lament that you would watch other teams play football, other teams play offense.
It looked so much easier.
There was always guys running open.
Yeah, like they schemed it open.
How come nobody's ever open? And then it's
like wide open.
Yeah, you just never saw. They would make plays. They would move the ball. They would have success. You just never saw dudes running free. This offense is getting guys running free.
Oh, yeah.
Pretty regularly.
That
word is
try it.
That word is hard.
It's beating your ass. That word came in swinging on Ira today.
I can say DJ.
That was a TKO in the first.
But I can't say
regularly.
Oh, there it is.
Regularly.
Pop to the face. Then you try to say it again. It pops you again.
Yeah.
It was just dancing around. I was like, get you some, Ira. Here's some more. Here's some more.
He sees I'm coming back, though.
Yeah, you keep coming for him. Yeah, you keep coming for him.
I'll try 6, 7, 8 times to get a word right.
You may lose this round, Ira, but you're still here.
Consistently is what you're trying. Maybe consistently.
But that's pretty cool, isn't it? I mean, that they're getting guys. I mean, look, Jordan's playing great.
Oh, he is.
But some of these throws, he's got guys wide ass open.
But he has done such a good job. I keep saying this. I'm a broken record about the pre-snap stuff. What I look at is, what he sees on defense, and then you have to go back sometimes because the TV angle isn't always great. But how he's able to slide protections, he does so many things so well pre-snap that I think that once the ball snapped, it's easy for him. Right. He has a very good idea of what he's looking at and what he's got to do and who should be open. And then even when things break down, and this is the part of Jordan that was always in place. So now the hard part's done. I'm reading the defense. I understand the concepts. I've slid protection. I've identified something breaks down and goes awry. Guy misses a block. Somebody blitzes late, whatever it might be. He's so freaking calm. I mean, when he's out of so he makes that guy miss always. So that first guy's screwed. He ain't going to tackle him.
Yeah.
So he makes him miss. Now your play, the timing of your play is ruined at that point. Everything you thought you were going to do in rhythm is now done. But watch, I mean, he just slides.
To your point, on the scramble, the long scramble he had, when he fakes the pitch, he gets up to the line of scrimmage, that's pretty cool, man. Because, again, you would think you're running for your life at that moment because that play could have gone sideways.
Yeah.
And instead, you've got the composure to.
The game's so slow to him, Ira, right now. I really believe it.
Yeah.
It's so, I mean, he has so much faith in his ability to make anybody miss in the open field, first of all, or to buy time in the pocket. And then secondarily, whenever he graduated, whenever that was, maybe the last 4 or 5 games last year, I don't know, because that's when he did start to play really well. But something happened with his understanding of this offense and his trust in himself to stay looking down the field. Look how few of these highlight scrambles he has. Now, he had one this last game that was electrifying, and it was good to see, especially coming off the injury. Yeah. But he has run so little. I mean, he's always looking to make a play with his arm, and it's because I've made you miss. Now I'm going to look downfield. His guys never quit on plays because they know he's going to find them down the field. That is a joy. Now, it will change. Somebody will force him to do something different at some point, but nobody's been able to do it as of yet, and I don't think Wake can either.
I can't, and I was probably of the three of us maybe the biggest Jordan Travis, I don't know, defender, champion, whatever you want to call me, last year and the year before, just because of the competition he was going up against.
I think I've been right there with you.
You were right there with me. Just because the other options were just not great. I can't believe how good he is. Like, I'm surprised by this. I did not know his ceiling was this high. And I thought it was, I thought he was a good player at the end of last year, but I didn't know he could reach this. And he's become literally one of the better players in the United States.
Think about if everybody in the fan base and media had erased their memories and you only saw him now. Like you don't have any memories of whatever preconceived notions of what he is from a year or two ago, and you just saw him now. If anybody, you'd think, man, that guy's one of the top.
He's really good.
He was one of the very top players in the country.
Yeah, no, it's true. That's why I'm absolutely stupefied. Like it's one thing to make the argument, and we used to go at it with each other, but I always thought it was kind of, there were shades of gray in that.
And he's the best option available.
Correct. Right. Like it's one thing to make the argument, hey, look, Jeff, great, he doesn't do certain things well. What the hell else are you going to do? That was a fair retort. You guys would say that. You were right.
And we had that argument last year, and I think it might have been last season in the spring. And I was like, I'm just tired of the conversation
because they don't have another option.
Yeah, he's defending him, and you're saying he's not a quarterback at that time. And I'm like, well, I mean, what are we doing? They don't have anybody else.
Yeah, they didn't have anybody else. That is an entirely different argument than the three of us are talking about now and in agreement on. That he has progressed so much as a quarterback.
Yep.
The things you have to do as a quarterback, not just a great player who can run around, but a guy who can read a defense, pre-snap, slide protection, make accurate throws, understand where he's going with the football, keep his eyes downfield, attack all aspects of the field. Like an opposing defense now has to worry about him throwing to every part of the field. They didn't a year ago. They just didn't.
Yeah.
So he's taken this huge step forward, and that's why I commend him as often as I can now, because I see it. I celebrate it. I'm happy for him. I'm happy for Florida State. That guy is an elite player right now. It's remarkable.
And never in a million years would I have thought this team would be 4-0, averaging whatever they're averaging, 38 points per game, and he has less than 100 yards rushing in 4 games. He's had 2 runs the whole season. But what he does, like you pointed out, so that play near the goal line, that either that's a misread by the lineman or Jordan didn't see it in time, and that blitzer comes free. He scrambles out of it. And then you end up having a 30-yard play because of his athleticism, because it's still there. And then he had the scramble he had. And then don't forget the Louisville game where the throw to Johnny Wilson down to the 2 on the first drive. He spins out of that. That's not normal. So are you talking about the throw where he gets him on the scramble against Johnny Wilson, kind of like he's rolling to his left? Yeah, and he back shoulders him down to the 2. But that was the other part of it. If he throws it, if he's not completely accurate with that throw, it gets broken up. Yes. Like he throws it in a perfect spot on the run. I also don't think last year he even tries to throw the ball. He's going to try to scramble for whatever he can get. He trusts his receivers. The receivers are clearly better, but man, he has just risen his game to a point that I didn't know it was possible. I mean, I don't know that you could say he's not one of the 10 or 12, 15 best quarterbacks in the country. It might be higher than that for all I know.
I think he's higher than that.
He's certainly in the conversation
the way he's
for
played
guys
through, who's played better through 4 games. I know there's some. The Hartman kid certainly very good
because
too,
he's doing all of those things, but then he also has that X factor, the athletic ability. Also,
it has not been unleashed yet.
Right. Which you would think it might in some of these other games as the competition gets tougher. I just want to give a shout out to Life Spectator who had my back. He suggested I could have said with regularity. Instead of letting me flail away,
regularity you could say without any problem,
and making fun of me
regularly.
He offered another option.
With regularity is a lot easier. That flows out of the mouth a lot better. Yeah. And, you could have said consistently.
But you guys,
well, look, man, it was hard to watch.
You just point fingers and laugh.
He said something. I just watched you continue to battle.
I
just was like, I'm watching my man go to war. I was like, he's hit you again. You're still standing there.
Yeah, he's going to hawk up something here if he keeps trying to say it.
Yeah, but you would mention Jordan Travis with like Hendon Hooker right now, who's playing insane football and who just single-handedly beat Florida last week. And you would mention him alongside like the 4 or 5. Yeah, Hartman, you mentioned, has played so well so far this year. There are like 10 guys right now that have played consistently well in every game, and he's amongst them.
But also, I think that maybe the difference is, and I don't know enough about Heupel's offense, but I feel like, he has a lot of quarterbacks that do good things in that offense, or will. I mean, I think he's got a good offense. Obviously, the North Carolina kid,
but also
they always put up a ton of yards.
And the running's such a big part of what they're doing.
Yeah, but with Jordan, we've seen what this offense looks with a pedestrian quarterback or not. I think North Carolina's quarterbacks are always going to put up big numbers and they're always going to look good. I think juxtaposed to how this offense has looked for 2 years and what he's done these last 4 games in the last 4 games of last year, I just think he's playing at a level that it's hard to even evaluate because we don't know what this offense looks at full capacity, but I think we do now. I think we're starting to see it.
But I think it's important that simultaneously, and the quarterback is always going to get the praise, and he should. We just got done praising him, rightfully so. But, man, Alex Atkins with this offensive line has done remarkable things as well. They've lost plenty of guys, even this year, and they're still above average. Now, I worry, I've said it for 2 weeks when I go back and watch games, that I'm not in love with Turnentine at right tackle. He's clearly much better suited as a guard. I do think that can end up catching up to you. It's a good thing you have a mobile quarterback back there because I do think he's going to have some trouble in pass pro. But the point is that marriage, the growth of this offensive line, the teaching of this offensive line by Atkins, and then going out and getting some guys that you could withstand some injuries, which a year ago you couldn't. If you lost somebody, you were in deep, deep trouble. That has all come together and allowed for that growth. They went out and got receivers. So everybody has really contributed, and Jordan, of course, took the next step, and that really opened things up with this offense. Now, I think that the offense can get even better as long as they don't suffer any more injuries on this offensive line because he's incorporating everybody.
Yeah.
I mean, there are guys that we did not suspect would come into the season and ever have a night like they've all taken turns having. I mean, you go into a game now, you're like, well, who knows? Could be Wilson, it could be Micah's night, could be
other Wilson, Williamson.
Yeah, there's nothing that you said it earlier. There's nothing a defense could look at this team and say, okay, if we just take care of this, we're okay.
Right.
Because that's not the case.
Yeah. That's why it was exciting to me that Johnny Wilson didn't have a huge game.
Yeah.
That's okay.
Anything,
good.
Yeah.
Because if teams decide to shade a safety that way, good. These other guys have to make plays, and they just did. Now, again, I think there will be some teams that figure some things out, but I believe the offense is going to score against most teams.
And the topic we haven't brought up too much yet, well, at least not in this segment, is, I mean, this game, if you're going to win this game, you're going to have to win on defense from the standpoint of you're going to have to get some stops.
Yeah.
And that is going to be a huge task.
A real big task. And and again, it's even worse if you don't have all your pieces. We don't know. We won't be told, I'm sure, about who's coming back on defense or not. If you could collapse that mesh point, to me, Verse is a key to doing that. I don't know if he's back this week or not. Really quick, want to at least acknowledge some folks here. Eric, as he does on a daily basis, contributing to what we do. Do you guys think the ACC, Michael Alford, perhaps Wake Forest's AD, moved the game to Sunday afternoon to give more time for fans to travel and Wake Forest to be able to travel? Go Noles 5-0. I don't, not if they don't have to. I don't foresee that happening. Again, storms are unpredictable, so we'll wait and see if there are any change in its trajectory. But no, I don't think so.
Yeah, and thanks, Eric, for the donation, man. Thank you a lot. I would think maybe more likely would be maybe moving it to the night,
Saturday night. Yeah,
and also this is what I was going to say, because South Carolina is going to be being pummeled by Saturday, according to the models and projections. It'll be pummeled. There is at least a chance now.
Stay the night.
Well, to know that Clemson, NC State gets moved. That's a marquee game, and you
Huge
don't want
game.
it to be played in a torrential downpour. Although they've done it before, they did it with Notre Dame in that stadium. Maybe they move that to Sunday, and the ACC's like, well, why don't we move the Florida State Wake to a prime time 8:00 game? Just saying that's a
that
possibility.
Wouldn't suck, Corey. I love that rosy outlook of yours, sir.
That's what I do.
That'd
Maybe
be
move
awesome.
game day too, because you can't have game day at a site where they're not playing the game.
It's a deluge. You might as well roll on over
Roll
here.
into Tallahassee,
I'm with
man.
you. Just as long as NC State and Clemson do play, and hopefully double overtime type football, a brutal physical affair.
Wouldn't that be good for Florida State
allows,
and NC State on a short week after Clemson?
5 hours of football, of grueling football into overtime.
Well, and to go to Eric's question, I don't know that that would certainly not behoove Florida State to play on Sunday and have a short week going into NC State. They would really try to avoid that.
And it would give Wake an extra day to rest from the Clemson game, which was a really physical game.
Yeah. Pappy, back in the chat here, the Silver Fox. Look forward to meeting
the
Silver Fox. Yeah. Look forward to meeting you guys at the Florida game finally. How many more, if any, games do you think Jordan Travis will throw for over 300? I know what the pass says, but I'm taking 2 more. Well, I got one this weekend. Although you can make an argument that the opposite approach would benefit Florida State here, and that is to run the hell out of the football against a Wake defense that doesn't stop the run well. It also keeps Sam Hartman off the field, so maybe I need to rethink that. I just did it live.
Go score. Don't worry about keeping him off the field.
Listen, it doesn't hurt you to play complimentary.
Oh,
now,
you guys
complimentary is coming after me, but I tackled it really quick. I just got back after it. But woo, a couple shots from complimentary.
Just a jab.
Just stung me a little bit. Get my hands up, complimentary. So here you go, really quick. I do think it doesn't hurt you to obviously play a little bit, help your defense out. Hartman's lit up a better defense than this one.
I think they're really just going to. I think they're going to do what I think they're going to let Wake Forest determine how Florida State's going to.
How do you want to get beat?
Basically,
how do you want to get beat here?
I mean, if you want to stack the box, they'll throw the ball.
Sure. That's fun
and I
to
think
do.
that's what Boston College did, right? Like they seemed pretty intent on stopping the run, taking it away, and they did for good portions of that game. Trayshawn Ward probably had 8 runs of 0 or 1 yard.
Yeah, and this is where I do think.
But now Florida State can beat you. You take that away. They got the horses and the guy pulling the trigger that can beat you. Where it's not just okay if we take away the run, we take away Florida State's offense. That's not the case anymore.
Thank goodness,
man. Isn't it fun?
Yeah, because I used to go in every week thinking if this team can take away this, we're not going to be able to beat them in the pass game because of our receivers. And, now I'm like, oh, well, no.
Well,
Jordan's got a handle on this.
You watch the Clemson game with Wake, and you're like, okay, well, there's a recipe there because you're probably not going to dominate that defensive line like Wake didn't. Wake couldn't dominate that defensive line, but you got wide receivers out wide that will give those corners problems. They can't, if they want to put them on an island, good, go for it. You're going to give up a lot of points just like you did to Wake.
Seminole Headlines, 93.3 Real Talk Radio, Warchant TV continues in a moment.
Your local news now.
Due to Hurricane Ian, classes at FSU will be canceled Tuesday through Friday. The cancellation of classes on Tuesday is to allow students to travel safely out of the area if they choose. The campus is prepared to support students throughout the storm. The FSU Alumni Association has postponed this week's events and activities associated with homecoming until April, including Friday's parade. The university is expected to resume classes and normal business operations on Monday. The American Red Cross Capital Area Chapter is urging Big Bend residents to make a plan, stay informed, and pack an at-home and to-go safety kit. As Hurricane Ian approaches, American Red Cross evacuation shelters do not have cots, pillows, or blankets, so your kits should have supplies, including food, water, bedding, prescriptions, batteries, gloves, a radio, a poncho, and more. The American Red Cross has a free app with evacuation shelter locations and more emergency tips. This is Rachel Lene with Real Talk 93.3 Local News Update, brought to you by Macklemore Systems, Tallahassee's go-to Mac store. They will be moving to a new location October 3rd. Check them out online at MacklemoreSystems.com.
This is meteorologist Paul Trombley with your Real Talk 93.3 weather update. More clouds than sun this afternoon with daytime highs approaching 85. North winds 8 to 15 miles per hour. Lows around 63 tonight, overcast. High of 76 tomorrow. Slight chance for scattered showers. Chance for scattered showers Thursday with a chance for scattered storms Friday. Highs in the low 70s. This report is brought to you by The Lawn Johns. For all your landscaping and lawn care needs, visit thelawnjohns.com. Right now, 81.
Leaky faucet, busted pipes, clogged toilet? M&L Plumbing is here for you. For all commercial, construction, and residential plumbing issues, call M&L Plumbing at 575-9393 or visit online at mnlplumbing.com.
Your next chance to win $1,000 is coming up at 3 p.m. Don't miss your chance to shake the 93.3 money tree and see what falls out. Planted by the law offices of Facet Brooks. Come back stronger with Facet Brooks.
Life is stressful. Dinner shouldn't be. That motto is why Register Sausage has been doing business in the Florida Panhandle and Lower Alabama for over 75 years. A proud sponsor of Seminole Headlines, Register Sausage always provides the best Southern smoked sausage to over 140 grocery stores and restaurants throughout the Southeast. Headliners have discovered the Register's difference. You can too. To find a store that carries Registers near you or to buy directly, head to registermeats.com. That's registermeats.com. Register Sausage. Yay, sausage!
Here's what you missed on the Greg Tish Show.
We need to have history. We need to have literature. It deserves an explanation. We don't need to be promoting lifestyles that come into play for your average elementary school.
Well, I had an experience with this. When my daughter was in school, her teacher gave her a book to read, but then she asked me what the C word is.
That was in the book.
That was in the book.
Okay, so talking about the C word. So you're talking about conservatives, right?
The Greg Tish Show, Monday through Friday, 6 to 9 a.m., only on Real Talk 93.3.
Seminole Headlines returns now. Head to YouTube and search for Warchant TV today to catch the show live or on demand. Now, here's Jeff Cameron, Ira Schofel, and Corey Clark.
Thinking about conversations that we could have where we would grow tired and just throw our palms to the sky the way Ira did when Corey and I would argue about Jordan Travis over the summer. Close games require you to make a kick every now and again, guys.
Let's not bring up that. He made one.
I think he made them all today at practice.
He did. And they look good coming off his foot, which, again, people might say, well, it's practice. What does it matter? Well, we watch him in practice, and it's not always the case. It's not like he's just smoking them down the middle
I do think
all the time at practice, but he looked good today at practice.
We can approach this pragmatically, though, without, taking undue shots at the kid. Obviously, he's struggling mightily. When you're missing extra points off come on. Even the kicks he makes, they barely go in.
Yeah.
So there's a difference between practice and a game. We know that. We see in the game he's feeling immense pressure. You see it. It's written all over his face when you go back and watch the games too. That part I feel bad for. I hate seeing people that are, I don't want to say scared, but he's obviously stressed. It stinks because a lot of people, and this has gone on for years when your kicker's struggling, you hear people say, well, they got to get somebody else in there. It ain't that easy, man. They don't have another guy on scholarship that can kick. They got to walk on, and he's not any good. So what do you there's nothing.
We don't know that. Well, we don't know that.
Okay. You're at the same practice as I'm at. But the point would be,
I think the thing I would say this. I do think you could, if you're Mike Norvell, you're asking yourself, why did we not bring in another kicker? Because you can have multiple walk-on kickers.
Do you put it out there? I mean, schools have done it before where you put it out there.
Yeah.
Like
we've seen schools do it during the season.
Yeah.
They'll just have open tryouts.
Well, it's funny because
they're not at that point, though. I think that they believe, and he talked about it today, that they believe he's a talented kicker and he's going to get through it. It's just a matter of getting through it. I think back to Case and Beatty all the time. I mean,
he eventually figured it out for that final season, and I agree it can happen.
Yeah, but that's a punter. A punter doesn't impact the game like a kicker does.
Dude, he impacted the game a lot.
He still won. He wasn't impacting the game where Norvell's like, this is a 44-yard field goal to put us up by 10, but I don't trust this kicker to make it, so we got to go for it. Like that's the calculus he has to do now in these games, and he did it a lot against Boston College.
Well, he's going to have to do it.
And they were all right in that spot where it made sense. But what if he's at? What if they're winning this game 33-28?
Well, I hate the idea that Florida State's maybe on the verge of a magical season, and they're going to have to win a couple of these games where it's the final drive, and you might need to kick a 42-yard field goal to win it. And there's nobody on earth that thinks when that kid trots out there that's going through the uprights.
I think there's a way that's going to free my man up. He's going to be like, here goes nothing.
That's a theory.
Here goes nothing. I don't expect to make this. You don't either. Nobody expects me here. I'm going to take a good swing at it. Let's see what happens.
Yeah.
Let the chips fall where they may.
Well, I'd love to see him come out the other side because there has been evidence that he can be a decent kicker, a decent to good kicker. But, it needs to happen sooner rather than later because you have a stretch of 3 games now that you figure
all points matter.
Will be close games.
Yeah,
will be close games.
And
until that time, I mean, the only reason Mike's having to address this is because Mike's having to address this. I mean,
you think it would hurt his confidence if they spent an entire special teams period on fake field goals? Running a bunch of different fake field goals.
Fitzy,
seven or 8 different fake field goal plays.
Fitzy, which side do you feel better rolling to? With the ball in your hand?
Right. Yeah. Can you throw either hand?
Isn't this usually when I kick field goals? Yeah, but we're just going to work on something different.
Something a little different. But coach is a 36 yarder.
How about you pitching it to Ash Maschermano? He's going to throw it to Cam McDonald.
I don't know if you've ever seen this, Fitzy. He's got a good arm.
Yeah.
He's got a good arm. Go out for a route. Go run one of these. Yeah. No, I don't know. It's also
or they just have 4th down day, where all they do is practice going for it on 4th down.
Lord knows they practice special teams a lot.
Yeah.
You just, it
could
wouldn't be that
marry
different.
it into just 4th down drills.
Well, we wondered aloud not long ago, what do you do with McCall because he was running or tiptoeing? We saw what they did. They went to somebody else.
Were you in the stadium? Were you in the same? That was a cool moment. I didn't realize because we got soundproof press box, but it was really loud.
I was watching really my kids' faces and laughing at them because it was so cool when he gets outside and you realize he's going to go or has a chance to go, just because they've never seen that. They've not watched it. They've never seen that, and surely none of us expected it. But Benson ran like a man several times. Boy, Wake Forest. Oh, there were a couple of those moments for
Boston
those.
College,
what did I say? Wake Forest. Yeah, I'm thinking about the ass kicking they're going to take. But yeah. The violence with which Benson ran, there it is.
That was
folks.
Good to see.
That was
the kid we saw against LSU. I thought. I know LSU's different than BC, but he just wasn't running like that.
The second half of the Louisville game is when it seemed
that
like
last drive. He's a different. I mean, again, he's a difference maker, and he had never done anything in a game that mattered since high school. Nothing.
How about the run he had? That was Greg Jones. I mean,
running over that poor
runs
bastard,
over the one guy and then knocks the other guy's helmet off.
And then Micah Pittman too, just slamming into dudes. That kid's a tough dude. By the way, Jason mentioned me doing a shirtless celebration, which isn't going to happen. But Ira's heard this, Jeff. I know you don't listen to Wake Up Warchant.
I do sometimes.
Do you think it's weird that I sent Aslan a shirtless pic of myself?
Incredibly.
When's the last time you sent a shirtless pic to another guy?
I never have.
Never.
There has never been a moment to do so.
But Look,
that would be a strange.
At first, I told him if he sent it to me, I'd block him. But then I thought, you know what? If he sent it to me, I would tweet it.
Yeah, I wouldn't. That's why I wouldn't send it to you. I made
I would
Aslan.
tweet it immediately.
I made Aslan delete it.
Guys, what do I do?
But Aslan works out a lot. He's a workout fiend. I thought he'd be proud of his partner for the strides that I'd made. That's all.
I don't think we should have said this publicly.
It's fine. It's already out there.
He did it on their show, and I texted him that morning, and I said, "Holy blank!
Yeah. What are you doing?
You're talking about that on the radio."
Yeah.
Look,
people hear these things.
It's vain. I don't care, but I felt good about I sent it to Stephanie.
That's beyond vain, man.
Half as a joke.
Vain is looking yourself in the mirror and thinking it. Sending it to somebody is a whole different level.
I took a picture and I just went down my contacts. I'm like, who wants to see this? Who wants to see this?
So I begin every morning with a shower and I take a picture of myself naked. And then when my wife wakes up, it's waiting on her phone.
It's
nice. Just a good way to start the day.
That's normal.
I can understand that, but never to another dude.
Right. I mean, I just
That's
thought
what happened.
I thought, and most of it was it was probably half joke, half. Hey, look, man, look, your partner's trying to get in shape.
Yeah, we should go another direction. We should move on in another direction. That actually, for all the fun we have and yucking it up, that's a little. Come on, man.
It's a little concerning.
It's a little weird. It speaks to a mindset I'm a little worried about.
Well, when else would he ever see me
What kind
shirtless?
of approval are you searching
Well,
for here,
a lot.
man? I'm
looking for a lot of approval.
Worried.
I'm not doing this just for myself. I'm doing it for all of your enjoyment too.
Apparent.
I want you to enjoy this, Ira. We need to go to break. I will take off my shirt for you, Ira.
I'll take a picture of it. I will take a picture of it.
Stop this madness.
Sorry.
Let's get back to the show. I'm frightened. All right. We were talking about something. Oh, we were talking about
Trey
players
Benson?
making plays. Benson, whom you'll never look like. So keep your shirt on.
That's true. I wonder if he sends shirtless pics out. I'd do that all the time if I had that. Are you kidding me?
But we said going into the game, we talked about things we wanted to see, the carryover for certain players and stuff like that. So Benson, you mentioned at the end of the Louisville game, looked like he was running tough. And would it carry over? Well, the answer was an emphatic hell yes.
I just think it's a mentality. When you run through that face mask and yank your head back, that's a mentality. Most guys don't do that, and he hadn't been running that way. And it seemed like that was like, okay, this is who I am now, and you saw it in that game. And I thought, man, that was one of the most
contagious too, though.
Well,
right?
that's what I was going to say. One of the most impressive things about that game. And look, man, this is a bad BC team. I wrote it in my thing. This is probably the worst BC team we've seen. I know they had a 2-10 team
They're beat to
one
hell.
year,
Yeah.
but they don't want to be there. It looks like, but man, it was cool to see a Florida State team. It's been a while.
Demolish somebody they should.
It reminded me again. I've shared this before. T-Buck said one time that back in the day when we stepped in that stadium, we knew we were there to give an ass whipping, and the other team
and they knew that ass whipping was coming.
They were there
exactly, and that's what that game felt like.
Headliner questions forthcoming. Stay with. Hour number 2 will be right around the corner. 93.3 Real Talk Radio, Warchant TV.
He can straighten a smile. But at Birch Orthodontics, they're dedicated to providing the finest care possible. The experienced and friendly staff is trained in all of the latest techniques. So whether you need standard treatment like braces or Invisalign, or you have a more complicated case requiring extra attention, Birch Orthodontics is here for you. Set up your free consultation today by visiting birchorthodontics.com, BURCH orthodontics.com, or call 850-877-1692. At Birch Orthodontics, they create beautiful smiles that last a lifetime.
Football at El Jalisco, football at El Jalisco, what a combination. It's a great big celebration. It's football at El Jalisco. I can dig it. Who's playing? Oh, man, everybody. The ACC, the SEC, all the C's, and even the pros. The Bucks, the Steelers, the Giants, the Cowboys. Wow, far out. You bet, man. When the game is on, it's on at El Jalisco with incredible specials on everything from frosty cervezas to salty margaritas. Does Margarita know? Dios mío, not again. The best place to watch the game is El Jalisco. College, pros, Monday night, Thursday night, you name it, El Jalisco is football headquarters. And with 5 Tallahassee area locations, there's probably an El Jalisco right around the corner right now.
Imagine for a moment that you are completely weightless with zero gravity. All of your worries and stress melt away. Your mind stops racing and you fall into a profound state of pure relaxation. This is available to you right now at Tallulah Delta 8 Plus Floating in Railroad Square for just $50. These state-of-the-art floating pods are unlike anything else you've ever experienced, and while you're there, you can shop for some of the latest and greatest CBD and Delta 8 products on the market. Natural pain management, stress relief, and better sleep are all at your fingertips at Tallulah. Tell them Jeff Cameron sent you, and thank me later. If you're hearing this right now and you or someone you know is active military, a veteran, police officer, firefighter, nurse, or a teacher, turn up the volume and listen to this. My friend Shannon with Legendary Home Loans has a hometown hero loan program designed to make a difference to those who make a difference. When it's time to buy a new home, he will waive all lender fees for all hometown heroes. That's a $1,600 value right out of the gate. Also, if you decide to use their preferred title company for their closing, you'll be saving another $600. That's $2,200 in discounts right off the top. That's like 20 tanks of gas in your car. And today, more than ever, it's important to save as much money as you can, wherever you can. So if you or someone you know is active military, veteran, police officer, firefighter, nurse, or a school teacher and looking to buy a new home, choose Shannon Young, Legendary Home Loans, and ask about their Hometown Heroes program. Call 844-FSU-LOAN or just visit FSUHomeLoans.com. That's FSUHomeLoans.com.
Coming up next, more of the Jeff Cameron Show. Live and local on Real Talk 93.3. WVFT, Gretna, Tallahassee.
Breaking news this hour from townhall.com. I'm John Scott. Florida Division of Emergency Management Director Kevin Guthrie gives the latest update on Hurricane Ian.
The National Hurricane Center is now predicting that landfall will be Venice in 35 hours at 125 miles an hour. So again, Venice in 35 hours at 125 mile an hour, making that a major Category 3 landfalling hurricane.
Florida Governor Ron DeSantis has a message for Floridians. Take hurricane and evacuation warning seriously.
Once the storm passes, you can be able to get back in your home. We'll be able to assess whatever damage may have occurred and be able to make the necessary improvements and rebuild. But we can't unring the bell if you stay and you end up getting washed away with a historic storm surge or get caught in really, really significant flooding.
Governor Ron DeSantis. Also at townhall.com, U.S. consumers grew more confident for the second month in a row as gas prices fell. The Conference Board reporting that its Consumer Confidence Index rose to 108 in September from 103.6 in August. However, gas prices have increased by 8 cents over the past week, hitting $3.75 a gallon.
The American Automobile Association says the main reason is higher regional prices on the West Coast and the Midwest due to refinery issues ranging from planned maintenance to a fire. And while gasoline demand has decreased, tight supply and fluctuating oil prices have increased prices. The current national average is about 11 cents less than a month ago, but 56 cents higher than a year ago, and much more than gasoline cost when Donald Trump was in the White House. Ken Lorman reporting.
The Dow is down 277 points and the NASDAQ off 24. More at townhall.com.
Hey, I'm Andy. If you don't know me, it's probably because I'm not famous. But I did start a men's grooming company called Harry's. The idea for Harry's came out of a frustrating experience I had buying razor blades. Most brands were overpriced, overdesigned, and out of touch. At Harry's, our approach is simple. Here's our secret. We make sharp, durable blades and sell them at honest prices for as low as $2 each. We care about quality so much that we do some crazy things, like buy a world-class German blade factory. Obsessing over every detail means we're confident in offering a 100% quality guarantee. Millions of guys have already made the switch to Harry's, so thank you if you're one of them. And if you're not, we hope you give us a try with this special offer. Get a Harry starter set with a 5-blade razor, weighted handle, shave gel, and a travel cover, all for just $3 plus free shipping. Just go to harrys.com and enter 3388 at checkout. That's harrys.com, code 3388. Enjoy.
Every day, Sellers makes life a little better for homeowners, helping them find the best design ideas for their homes with the best quality tile, carpet, and hardwood flooring. Even mosaics, ceramic, and vinyl solutions are at their fingertips in their remarkable showroom. Maybe it's time for you to get the Sellers advantage for your home or office. Find them on Capitol Circle Northeast, just north of Mahan Drive, or online at sellerstile.com. For style, quality, and design, get the Sellers advantage. In Tallahassee, call 656-8453.
Many orthodontists in Tallahassee can straighten a smile, but at Birch Orthodontics, they're dedicated to providing the finest care possible. The experienced and friendly staff is trained in all of the latest techniques. So whether you need standard treatment like braces or Invisalign, or you have a more complicated case requiring extra attention, Birch Orthodontics is here for you. Set up your free consultation today by visiting birchorthodontics.com, BURCH orthodontics.com, or call 850-877-1692. At Birch Orthodontics, they create beautiful smiles that last a lifetime.
It's time for Seminole Headlines, featuring Warchant.com's Jeff Cameron, managing editor Ira Schofel, and senior writer Corey Clark. Your weekly dose of all things FSU, pistols, and pies starts right now. Here's Jeff Cameron.
Hour number 2, Seminole Headlines, 93.3 Real Talk Radio, Warchant TV. Had a lot of questions headed your way, and we got a lot of them, boys, so I'm going to have to do some rapid fire this afternoon if we're going to get to the bulk of these questions. First, though, our thanks to Birch Orthodontics, always for the ride and die support that is Dr. Birch. Her and her crew, the best in the business for orthodontic needs and for that moral support we need every week as well.
And I think, man, there's a lot of people I'm happy for right now with this 4-0 start. I'm happy for Jordan Travis. Happy for this coaching staff. Happy for the fans. Happy for Dr. Birch.
Yeah.
Because she took it hard, man.
Yeah.
She did not like losing. She did not like losing. She was not happy about the losing.
She was fed up.
She's like one of those coaches where the wins they don't get to appreciate very long, but the losses
they stick with you.
They stick with you for years.
Not that she let it affect her work.
No,
still tremendous work.
Unshakable.
I was trying to think. There's another word there, but unflappable.
Yeah,
is the word I was trying to think of,
absolutely.
which I said better than regularly.
Oh, don't do this again.
Do Come on,
I'm getting back in the ring.
Let's not
Bring
do
it
this
back.
again.
I want the rematch.
I don't want round 2. Let's let it go. Let it go.
BirchOrthodontics.com is the website. You get free consultations. They've got payment plans. Tremendous work. They'll handle any issue you've got. The latest techniques in orthodontic work. Our kids have gone there.
Oh yeah,
tremendous work. And she'll talk football with you.
And insightfully.
Yes. Oh, yeah.
It's not because, a lot of us, obviously, when a woman starts talking about anything really, but especially football, we're just done here. But,
Can we go back to talking about my shirtless pics? I think I'd be more comfortable with that.
I laughed. It was good. I got him. Jason writes, how fast is Trey Benson, man? When he hits a seam, it's electric. Yep. He's fast and big and strong and the best overall of the running backs when he's running right, I think, because of that size. Now, I love Trayshawn Ward. I don't want to take him out of here because in between the tackles, Trayshawn's really shifty, makes guys miss in tight quarters.
Tough runner. Yep.
But I think the complete package is Benson. And listen, they got 3 guys that you trust.
Do you think players? Aslan brought this up because they do the In the Coop show, which people can watch at Warchant TV as well on the YouTube channel. Robert Cooper's show that he does with the help
Trayshawn
of Rosie
this
Spear,
week, right?
Yeah, and Aslan was asking or I think some of the fans were asking who's the fastest guy on the team. Do you think players don't race each other anymore? Because that was the thing back in the day. They knew who the fastest guy was because they would challenge each other like kids would on the street. I don't know if they don't do that anymore.
I heard a debate one time. They were talking about how it was a NBA type discussion where they were saying some of the best dunkers in the league won't compete in the dunk contest.
None of them
doesn't do them any good really. They can only lose. So there's that, but also. If they brought back something that existed in the 70s very briefly, a one-on-one competition, the argument was who would win, and the counter was none of the best players would play in it because it doesn't do you any good. You could lose to a nobody in a one-on-one game because that's not a really good indicator of what you are as a basketball player.
Didn't they used to do the fastest man in the NFL? Like Darryl Green
used to
race
won it every freaking year.
Yeah.
Dion ran in it and would always get dusted by Darryl Green, which just tells you how fast Darryl Green is.
I wonder when it did change because I will tell you, I told the story, and this is a compliment to him. When Tommy Carter went to Notre Dame, his first week there, I remember calling him and asking him how it was going because I was so excited for him. And he's just an awesome guy. It still is. And he goes, oh, it's going really well. And I said, why? He goes, because the first week we were in pads, Rocket Ishmael wanted to race me, and I beat him.
Wow, really?
Oh, Tommy ran 4.27, 4.30. He was one of the fastest people I've ever seen in my life.
Wow,
And in one state and everything else, he was fast as hell. But he beat him as a freshman. And
did he run anchor on that relay, or did you?
He did.
Okay,
he did. I did not run. Yeah,
okay.
I did not run anchor. No, I ran 2.
You just kept it within range.
I stayed close, so that guy right there was going to guarantee a win. But no, honestly, he was a remarkable athlete. I mean, he reverse dunked. He was like 5'9". I was watching him do that. Point is, they used to do it back then, and that was in 92, 90.
Yeah, in the 90s, I definitely knew, and we would hear players talk about it in the early 2000s.
All the time,
I just don't think, maybe it's just at this level, they're risk
it
averse.
would be weird, too. Like, I don't know that the staff would be like, oh, we're going to have 12 guys.
It's a good way to get hurt,
race.
man. There's no reason to do that.
Purpose?
Yeah.
Put it on film, and we'll
the first time your fastest and best player decided to race and pulled a hammy and was out for 6 weeks.
Like I did.
Like Corey in the parking lot.
I did in that parking lot. I'm still not right. And that was like 8 years ago.
Ricky writes, with the vastly improved play of the wide receiver room and the recent commitment of 5-star Hakeem Williams, have your thoughts on Ron Dugan's changed at all? And is his job still in jeopardy moving forward? Love the show, guys. Keep up the great work.
It's a big couple of weeks for Ron Dugan.
Man, it was a huge couple of weeks for Ron Dugan. Happy for him because Ron's a Nole, man. And I remember him so fondly playing here and remember the national championship game against Virginia Tech. And just remember him being a really good receiver that was overshadowed largely because Peter Warwick was a freak.
Yeah.
But you root for Ron. But there was no equivocation. He was not doing a good job.
The data wasn't great.
Well, and that's why when they say, has your judgment changed? Yes, because the production has
changed, and he just
landed a top recruit.
Yeah.
So that's a big deal because recruiting is a big part of this as well. So
and those receivers like that when I was talking about contagious with Trey Benson, the way he ran, and then Micah Pittman running over folks. When you see Johnny Wilson just go moss people for an entire game, all of a sudden now they're Kentron Portier's making those catches. Williamson's making catches. Like they all want to show out because they're trying to compete with their own teammates.
They're doing it regularly. Good.
Good. How about with regularity?
Right now the scoring is three rounds to none.
They've called the fight. There's no
regular is standing over here going, come on,
they're not
let's go. Yeah, let's do this thing. Ready for round 4.
They're not going to the scorecards. It's over.
Ira's cornerman is like, he's all wrong for us, baby.
The damn towel.
He's all wrong for us, baby. Let's go. Marlon writes, hello, gents. Hope everyone stays safe. What a turnaround from last year, 0-4 to 4-0. At what point do we make that phone call to Roberto and get him a coach's polo to help this kid kick a little better? Love the show. Yeah, I don't know, man. It stinks for that kid.
He did do a really good job on kickoffs.
Yeah,
he's done what since the LSU game. He's been great there. It's just you can't be good at everything, man.
Well, I'd like you to make the kicks.
Right. Well, he's only missed 3, and they won them all anyway, so it's fine.
How about that Clemson kicker though?
The onions he showed,
man,
that was crazy. A 52-yarder.
When he sent him out there for a 52-yarder,
he wasn't even nervous.
I was like, man, this poor kid. You can't do this to this kid, Dabo.
He had no problems.
Drilled.
Dude's really good too, by the way. He's been really good.
That was like his 8th or 9th 50-plus
yard. He makes them all the time.
Yeah.
It reminded me of Roberto Aguayo down in Miami with that long kick to really. I mean, I remember him rolling out there thinking, man, that's a lot of pressure out here. And I was in the stadium. How intense that was. He's no problem. Matthew Wright says Mike Norvell won back all the good that he lost after the Jacksonville State game last year. Even if the answer is no, how crazy is it that we can legitimately have that conversation now only a year later? The roster and culture flip Mike and staff has done, incredible. Excited for the first time in a long time to see how this season plays out. Thanks for the great show, as always. That's from Matthew. Thank you, Matthew.
It's fluid.
You got to see how this season goes, next season goes.
Let's see what the tenor of the fan base says after the first loss.
So if they lose, let's just for hypothetical and having fun, if they lost 3 straight, these 3, would Jacksonville State come up the following week, like the 4th week after that? Like, would it come up like, we should have never trusted this guy. Jacksonville State did happen.
Yeah.
How quick does it get brought back
It'll
up?
be interesting to see how that game gets played, because we've definitely saw it with Leonard Hamilton, where when things go well, people would back off. And then once they're
waiting in the weeds.
Everybody shows back up again.
Well, especially because they take it personal. Like a lot of the people that hated him, it crossed a weird line.
Well,
I'm like,
mostly they want to be right.
They want to be right. But then all of a sudden, like the first bad loss, like, here we go, guys.
Can't win the big one. Can't win the big one.
Nicholas writes, gentlemen, when will the Warchant crew build a statue to Corey Clark?
Wait, I've been asking that for a while. What's the context? Just in general, I should have a statue, or
Of course not.
Shirtless statue.
of course. Yeah.
Legends will tell of the day there was a bright, shiny light of hope, which was the glare off the bald head asking a question to rescue a football program. That's what he's.
If only the people knew what I was doing behind the scenes this year, Ira, with some of my. Some
Keep
of my
it between us, buddy.
But then I think they would build a statue.
All the things you do for this program.
I'm going to wait till after the season.
The sacrifice, Corey Clark.
I'm going to wait till after the season to see how it plays out till I explain what I've done. But yeah, I don't think there's probably won't be a statue of me.
No.
Well, I was thinking about this though. I think all three of us at least have a tiny chance of getting into the Florida State Hall of Fame.
What?
Just for media contributions. I mean, Deckerhoff's in it,
So
right?
do you think they would name Lee Bowens after he passed away? Has the booth is named after him at the baseball stadium.
yeah.
So I don't know what part of the stadium they would use for the three of us, but they should. You know how there's the
somewhere in the
sportsmanship-
bowels. Somewhere in the bowels. for sure.
Maybe by the smoking section. There, the three of us are smiling as you come in to smoke.
The den of iniquity.
Yeah, the den of iniquity. There it is. You guys, the three of us are smiling like this. Yeah,
Yeah, and how we've chronicled the rise and fall, and now rise again.
Well, you know,
of a
the
great
stadium
program.
is going through a transformation. There's a lot of changes. It wouldn't take much to add this threesome right here.
Yeah.
To one of the new aspects of
Well,
the
and
stadium.
there's signs for Seminoles everywhere. Just throw in headlines after a couple of them. You're fine.
They're doing such a good job with the Circle of Honor or
Looks
whatever
good.
it is
Looks
up on the
good.
stadium.
Yeah,
They're doing
yeah,
a nice
yeah.
job with all that. So
I
yeah,
agree.
while they're at it,
why not?
It really should just be the three of us. Like that picture from your party all those years ago.
Yeah.
It's just that picture.
7 years ago. That's when I was
So
turning
many
40. Yep.
years ago. Yeah.
A whole life ahead of me.
Yeah. Greg writes, Norvell appears to be a top target for Arizona State. Well, good luck, Arizona State. You're nothing program stuck in a
Imagine leaving Florida State
conference
for
with
Tempe.
No, that's not going to happen. What segment of the FSU program has seen the most improvement in the last 3 years? The offensive line, wide receivers, or media department? We've come a long way since MLK donned a Nike glove.
That is a great point. Those things they do are incredible. Those cinematic
The
look backs they
videos?
do on
Yes.
Mondays in a pretty short turnaround. I would still say the offensive line.
Yeah.
But that might be a close second now. That media department's killing it.
Yeah, and because they're both good and compared and contrasted to what came before it. So it's just like all of a sudden Martin Scorsese's up there. Jay Daddy writes, selfishly, I want this game against Wake to be played this Saturday, but do you think it would actually be more beneficial for the team to have a bye now and play Wake Forest in mid-October? No, I want them to play right now.
I disagree with you. I get why you say what you're saying, though, because you do want to play Wake right now. Wake is poised for a letdown.
Yes.
And but man,
and I don't want to play Wake after we've played NC State and Clemson.
Yeah,
no.
sure, no, but you also would maybe be healthier.
But that's my point. I'm with him because I think there's a chance.
I
Yeah,
don't think
maybe
you would be.
Maybe you have one or two of these guys who's out then, but who knows what else has happened to you by playing NC State and Clemson.
Yeah, you're right.
Yeah.
I mean, if something happens to 13, it's a whole different.
I just hope it's a good crowd, like a full house, because it would be if this wasn't happening. And obviously, that's not the priority is getting people to Doak. But I just think that it would be such a great atmosphere Saturday if the stands are full and the students are there.
Jonah asks a good question, and it's something I've been thinking about, so therefore it's a great question.
Well done, Jonah.
When do you think Jordan Travis has his first big game on the ground? Only 15 rushing attempts, including sacks this season. Figure it has to happen eventually, right? He's too dynamic for it not to. Also, how many 2023 NFL dudes from this team? By my estimation, we have over under 5.5. So I would say less than.
Like in the draft for this year coming up? Yeah, I'd say less than that.
Less
I mean, on the roster, I think there's more.
Yeah,
but
so here's what I think. I think they've been smart that they haven't had to run him because he's been so good from the pocket. And when he does escape, he still made throws down the field. In terms of the game plan, and that's what you're asking, Jonah, when they decide to unleash the beast, when they say he is going to be a huge part of what we do on the ground today, I would think Clemson is the answer to that question, maybe NC State. Both defensive lines are capable of stoning the traditional run. And I think that in that situation, Florida State's going to have to incorporate Jordan to make those defenses play them honest. So one of those two games, if not both, if he can endure that. That's my feeling on that.
Yeah, I think probably, but I also could see it against NC State. I think in that game's first, so I can see it in that game.
Yeah. Both defensive lines are really good.
Yeah, and I think that's a game where you're going to need something a little special.
On the road at night?
Yeah. Because that crowd's going to be – I was talking to somebody about, Corey, we've talked about it for years. It's a snake pit.
Yeah, it is. It
Finley.
is.
Piss bombs.
Piss bombs everywhere.
The whole thing.
So I think that may be a game where you need him to be better than just directing.
Yeah, he maybe be Superman there. Yeah, and I think that's fine. Those two teams specifically.
Games,
But will they have a game plan for it, or is it just going to be in the moment?
That's what I'm saying. They have to unleash him as a runner, designed runs for Jordan Travis.
I mean, I know people get hesitant about him running a lot because you want to keep him healthy, but look around the country, man. All these quarterbacks run. The kid from Tennessee is running for 100 yards a game. Yeah. I mean, it just
112 and a touchdown on the ground. Threw for 330 something as well.
Cunningham, Louisville, it's part of their game plan, and I think that it's awesome for Florida State. They haven't even had to use this. It's like having a weapon like this, a great weapon you haven't even brought out of the bag yet.
Which is, and it's so cool that they've been able to get through this without it.
You keep your weapons in a bag, right? When you're going into a war, you have them in a bag, like a
grocery bag,
like a grocery bag, and then you just take them out one.
I was thinking it's like when Jeff brings out the driver.
When you let that big dog just start chomping.
That's when I turn to my playing partners. I'm like, it's time to unsheath.
Yeah. Yeah.
And I walk over, and they understand.
They know what's going on.
They know what's about.
They get out their cameras, their phones.
Yeah. He's gonna text this to me later.
Hello, gentlemen. Hope everyone stays safe with Ian on the way. If Ian were to only bring a lot of rain, could that be to the Noles' benefit? The passing game is neutralized, and the running game is the main way of moving the ball. Would that not be a big edge for Florida State? If you can get either Verse or Lovett back, or both, certainly. I still think it is, but I really want one of those two back.
That would help.
Yeah, I think so.
But if it's just a wet turf, but it's not raining, I don't know that helps the defenses. That might help the offenses.
Yeah, because the receiver knows where he's going, as they always say, and that is a toughie.
And if you're playing in a downpour, that's one thing, but I don't think that's going to be the case.
You think it's just going to be sitting water from 2 inches having piled up of
Put
rain?
A tarp. Why don't they tarp football fields?
Good question.
I mean, you can make a tarp. There's no limit to how big a tarp can be. Why don't you get some tarps out there?
There's not enough room for it to run off. Like in a baseball field, there's more space. Maybe. I don't
know.
Steve writes, my pay grade, buddy. Steve writes, how is Wake able to run the slow developing mesh point offense without holding?
Well,
they don't.
I think they do hold.
It reminds me a little bit of defenses in basketball that get a reputation for being really good, and they never get called for being handsy and just redirecting people because their MO is that they're a great defensive ball club.
Some might describe them as the Virginia Cavaliers.
Some might. And there have been stretches where all that slapping of the floor that Duke did somehow contributed to the idea that they never commit fouls. Their feet move.
They just take
they're
charges.
always, they're just
get charged into.
So that's what Wake does, and they figure, well, we got to call holding on every play. We're never going to get through this game. I don't know, but they do teach it well, and they are really good at it. And it's fascinating to watch because if anybody was going to blow that up consistently, you would have thought it would have been Clemson's defensive line because they have in the past. They have blown it up in the past.
This is the first time Wake's even been in a game with them.
Really lit them up. It was rather remarkable. Seminole Headlines, 93.3 Real Talk Radio. Warchant TV continues in a moment.
Well. Hey, Jeff, look at this place.
Well, doing well. It's been a while since I've seen you, brother, but, it hasn't been a while since I've been over to Gordo's. I go there on the regular because of you, Eddie.
Well, we keep you regular.
Well, that's true, but I think of Gordo's as a place to sit down, have a cold beer, talk to your friends, enjoy the sports, eat the delicious food, but I think of you as Uncle Eddie, a man who takes care of his people and takes care of the town.
I appreciate that, Jeff. Hey, and we'll keep you regular.
Gordo's, bringing the flavor and flair of Cuban food to Tallahassee since 1996.
T-Spark Enterprises, roofing and construction services. T-Spark, T-SparkConstruction.com. We conquer all peaks, we fix those darn leaks. Call 850-766-1340. T-Spark Enterprises, roofing and construction services. T-Spark, TSparkConstruction.com.
License number CCC 1331204.
Hey, this is Greg Tish. Here's something you might know about me. I don't drink coffee. I have never had a cup of coffee in my life. Well, that is until now. So why change now? Well, it's because my dear friend at Grassroots Coffee reached out to me after hearing me say that and insisted that I give his product a try. I've been making a huge mistake. The world of coffee is fascinating. I always thought Coffee is coffee, you know? No, it's not. I have tried their coffee, and it is fantastic. Now, I've got a fascination with learning more about the best coffee in our area. Grassroots Coffee is locally roasted, locally owned, and locally loved. You can find whole bean Grassroots Coffee on the local aisle at Publix, also in Whole Foods, but the best way to get this black gold is to order it online. They literally grind the fresh roasted beans to your preferred level, bag it, write the date on it by hand so you know the exact day your coffee was roasted. It doesn't get any more fresh than that. Order yours now. Just go to grassrootscoffee.com and choose the coffee you want and how you want it, and join me. Let's step up our coffee game together and also support a great local business.
There's fun to be had every night at the Corner Pocket. Take home prizes on Trivia Tuesdays and Beer Bingo Thursdays. And kickstart your weekend with Martini Fridays. Plus, happy hour runs every weekday and game day specials every time the Noles take the field. Watch all the best games at the Corner Pocket's Vegas Wall, featuring 560 inches of flat screen TV heaven.
Oh, really?
The best food, the best drinks, and the best place to watch all the games. Tallahassee loves the Corner Pocket.
I was 53, divorced, and ready to get back out there. I was unsure about dating sites, but I signed up for Silver Singles and quickly met Lily.
Mark and Lily rediscovered the romance they deserve on Silver Singles, the secure dating site for 50-plus singles who know what they want.
Lily's a lover of the great outdoors like me, and we instantly connected over it.
If you're like Mark and want to rediscover that feeling, sign up today at silversingles.com/date. That's silversingles.com/date.
Finding great candidates to hire can be like, well, trying to find a needle in a haystack, but not with ZipRecruiter. Its powerful technology actively finds and invites qualified candidates to apply to your job. So while other companies might deliver a lot of hay, ZipRecruiter finds you the needle in the haystack.
See why 4 out of 5 employers who post a job on ZipRecruiter get a quality candidate within the first day. Try ZipRecruiter for free at ZipRecruiter.com/free. That's ZipRecruiter.com/free.
Life is stressful. Dinner shouldn't be. That motto is why Register Sausage has been doing business in the Florida Panhandle and Lower Alabama for over 75 years. A proud sponsor of Seminole Headlines, Register Sausage always provides the best Southern smoked sausage to over 140 grocery stores and restaurants throughout the Southeast. Headliners have discovered the Register's difference. You can too. To find a store that carries Registers near you or to buy directly, head to registermeats.com. That's registermeats.com. Register Sausage. Yay, sausage!
Seminole Headlines returns now. Head to YouTube and search for Warchant TV today to catch the show live or on demand. Now, here's Jeff Cameron, Ira Schofel, and Corey Clark.
It's likely a bit of both, writes Austin, but if you had to choose one, would you say that was a great game for Fuller and the defense or a really bad Boston College offense?
A little bit of the first, mostly the last. I'm not trying to, the defense played well, but man, that Boston College offense is awful. The offensive line's terrible. Jurkovich wants no part of a defensive player being within 10 yards of him.
He's been beat to hell. He's done. He sees ghosts too.
He's a wreck.
Yeah, I would be too behind that.
Yeah,
that
and
offense,
also you're
though.
going to put your body on the line for that offense and that offensive line.
No, he's thinking about the next level. He's going to get drafted, and now these groups, they're going to get him hurt. He's thinking, this is ridiculous. I'm taking an ass kicking on every play.
But it was cool to see how hard they played.
No, they did.
Played
they did
with the violence.
Yeah.
I
and
thought.
I hate to take it away
cool
from them, but
they did that.
But it was like beating up on somebody with one arm behind their back. They just
the hard part
impotent.
is it is fair to note that the defense played really hard and it was a good game plan. But the truth is, I think Boston College they're ready for the year to be
done.
Over. They are done. Halfway's got to be like, damn, this is.
And apparently he's getting grief, which.
From who?
From who?
Apparently, that's what I just saw. Some people saying on social media the Boston College fans are not happy that they're not competitive. But it's
stop.
And that he's not even trying to compete. Like in that game, he was just
he did kind of just give up.
It was time to go home is what he was saying. I'm going to get my guy hurt.
That first drive, they have a 4th and 3 at the 50, and they punt down 31-0. It's like, all right, that tells your whole team and your fan base, we're done. We're not even trying.
But also, man, like
I get it too.
Around, look at what
he may be a realist. He may be like, this ain't happening, guys. I'll get us out of here. That's why I was really impressed with that Duquesne coach. He's like, that Duquesne coach knew what time it was.
Oh, absolutely.
We are just here for the money, guys. So we are going to leave as soon as we possibly can.
We're trying to win a conference.
I'm
what
trying to get
Duquesne's doing? Have we looked?
Why don't you look
that up?
I think they're 3-1. I think I've noted in my 3-2-1 that FSU has scored more against every team they played than they've given up in any other game. Again, I think, man, LSU's not bad.
LSU's playing pretty well right now. I think Louisville is way up and down.
They're suspect.
They're suspect. It will be interesting to see. All right. Sunday Smash, D-Rob's description of Clemson today versus what kids think of FSU now was chilling. How far we've fallen. Can FSU retake what was once theirs 2 to 3 years from now, or will it always be shared with Clemson for the next decade?
So he mentioned on the Sunday Smash because he went and visited Clemson staff a couple years ago, and he was looking at the fact that on defense you have Venables, on offense you had the coaching staff they had there.
Staff,
and then the togetherness of the program, the success they were having, how well they recruited. It felt like what Florida State was like in the late 90s.
When it's rolling, it's rolling.
But now they have lost their coordinators, and so could they be going through what Florida State went through in the early 2000s? And it could be.
I think everybody gets got at some point. The remarkable run of Bobby Bowden in the history of this program, having set a record that probably will not be broken in our lifetimes anyhow, is something that, you have to take a step back and realize the unlikeliness of that. And so these programs lose people. Guys take other jobs. Eventually, you have a bad year or two, and the next thing you know, you're battling the perception of where the program's at. Florida State has always been in a place where they could tap into the cachet, the recruiting, the fertility of the grounds that they're recruiting in, the history of the program, and all that. It does feel like we're on the cusp of this changing. Let's hope this is capitalized on. The other problem is, though Clemson looks susceptible and does no longer look like a dominant program, but they're not losing a lot of games.
They have the longest winning streak in the country.
But it's not just that, Corey. They didn't look good last year, and they went 10-3.
Well, they didn't look good against Wake for long stretches.
Yeah, they won the game.
But isn't that what happened to Florida State? Like in the 2000s, we call it the lost decade. But towards the end of it, they really fell off. But there was a period from like 01 to 04.
Where they would lose 2 games.
Where they'd lose 3 games.
Yeah.
Well, that's what Clemson did.
A year ago.
That's what Jimbo did those last couple of years before everything fell apart.
We need that to happen this year, though, because if you survive it and get it turned back around, then you may be able to sustain an Alabama-like run. I mean, that's really the remarkable part of what Nick has done, is that they haven't had any sort of fall off. He's kind of the only one really that has been able to sustain that.
Duquesne is 1-3.
No,
they lost to Youngstown State 31-14.
That ain't good.
Yeah, but you're not going into Youngstown.
Of course not. It was at Youngstown. They beat Thomas More, which 34-14.
Thomas More, what time it was there?
Yeah, and then they lost.
Not Thomas Less.
Thomas More, and then they lost at Hawaii 24-14.
Ooh,
24-14.
That Hawaii team is one of the worst teams ever to be assembled in the.
They beat Duquesne. Now Duquesne's starting conference play this week against Stonehill.
Now it gets real.
Stonehill.
Now it gets real. Take down Stonehill. Sam writes, what are you guys hearing about the game Saturday in relation to the Storm? Just so far, Sam, we answered this earlier. I know you don't know that as you submit the question at the time, but it looks like right now that game will be played. We'll continue to update you. Did FSU announce any, when the next announcement would happen?
No, we just talking to people around the program, it sounds like they were going to, unless something changed in terms of what the Storm is doing or what the state has to do from an emergency standpoint, the plan is to still play. So, there's nothing really to say other than unless something changes, they're planning to play.
Yeah.
Mike Babcock writes, race to 45 on Saturday? ? Ira and I both chose a high scoring game. I do really wonder, though, does Florida State take the air out of the ball? And not in the sense that they're not trusting Jordan Travis, of course not, but
if you win the
ball,
if you win the coin, toss, what are you doing?
No,
what about you?
Kicking.
I want the ball.
I'm kicking.
I'm making a statement.
I want the ball coming out of
5 plays, 80 yards, suck it. Hold serve.
It might be just a kick return.
Could be
95 yards.
One
I think
play.
that's interesting.
Yeah. Hold serve.
What do you think these two coaches do in this situation?
I think we'll defer.
I think Norvell defers.
What about Clausen?
I don't know. I don't know enough about him.
I think Dave would take the ball. I don't think he's going to be like, let's get after it, Wake defense. Let's go show them what's up.
But it is look, if Norvell he's shown he can do a good job of managing the time at the end of the half and then coming out of the second half, getting the ball back and scoring there. So that could be a big deal.
You can double up
if you can do that. Yeah.
Ryan writes, gentlemen and Ira, I'm not sure if you all saw this, but Norvell was on with the ACC Network guys Saturday night, and Mark Richt was emotional in thanking him for what he's done in bringing the program back. that got me thinking, is Norvell right now the most well-liked FSU coach by the fan base since Bobby Bowden in the 90s?
Well, right. Yeah, right now. What it's Bobby, but it's either Jimbo or Willie Taggart?
No, I think if he's asking about maybe all of the coaches that coach at FSU.
On campus?
Yeah, I
no,
mean,
no. Lonnie is, Lonnie's not as known, but Lonnie is beloved.
Leonard's
well-liked.
kind of moved himself in that. I mean, my man's 4-0. Let's slow it down a little bit.
I mean, let's
get to 14-0.
There's a potential for it.
Yeah, sure, because football's king.
And if time stopped today, then yeah. But we all know that there's a whole lot of football left to be played to determine that.
He is a likable guy, though,
Yeah.
because of the passion that he, cares for those players.
And the way they play.
Yeah, I mean, they play. It's a fun brand of football. When was the last time that a non-championship FSU team got as much out of their available talent as this year's squad, writes David. Good point, David. I do think you go back to the team, was it the 09 year?
I don't know.
With the team that got housed in the ACC championship game?
10.
That was
10.
not
Sorry,
9.
yeah, it was definitely not 9. You're right. Sorry, 10. So that team was likable too. I thought they got a lot out of what they had. They
Right. Especially then the way they played in the bowl game.
Yeah, so 2010 might be the answer to that question. But as far as this goes, this team is very likable because I don't think they're great on the offensive line. I think they're good. They're average.
They don't have great talent really anywhere. Maybe the quarterback is great, and some of the and maybe a receiver and running back here or there. But they're good players.
Right.
But this isn't a great.
No, right.
roster.
It's not filled. It's not littered with 5 stars.
Kind of remind me of the 2022 Orioles. They got some guys off the waiver wire, Corey.
Yep.
They got some.
Are you still 3.5 games back of the wild card?
It's sliding.
It's not looking good, is it? The Orioles will be at home watching the playoffs with the Pirates.
Yeah.
It's like the season never happened. What good did it do you?
Right. Yeah. It actually hurt worse for him.
Yeah.
He was
I knew
upset.
it was over 20 games into the season. You're riding this dream.
20 games into the season. You knew it was over when they were pitchers and catchers reported.
No. Hey,
All right, we got more questions. We got more questions.
Go easy.
We get some questions.
Kyle writes, taking everything into account, you have made it 4 games without playing to what you thought was your biggest strength coming into the season. Do we see Travis being unleashed this weekend with his legs in the running game? Thank you guys for the great content. I don't think so, Kyle. I don't think they have to.
Unsheath that weapon next week.
Yeah, I think that you wait to unsheath to the right moment in time.
And I don't think they go into the game thinking this is the time we're going to use it necessarily.
I do.
I think he might have some scrambles in this game.
Well, that's always a threat. I'm
Yeah.
talking about actively utilizing him in the run game as a play call.
Because you
I'm
don't
saying
think
it's part of the script.
because you would not think based on the way they've played now, you don't think Clemson or NC State is going to be spying Jordan Travis as a runner because they're not going to want to devote that.
It really can't
because of what they can do. So if you come out and do it, now you're saying, "Oh, okay, we're not going to let you just sit back and
no,
play."
you're going to have to do this. Right. Like to me, that is why you would do it. I mean, put pressure on them to have to walk somebody up and account for him. Do the math. Make him count for it, and then from there have some fun because you're going to get some one-on-ones, and he's shown he can make the throws. They will against the better defenses. They haven't really faced a dominant defense yet.
You would have thought LSU would have been the time, and it wasn't. He threw the ball so well. He had one run in that game, and that was it. And that was early on.
Well, and I was surprised at how well Florida State stuck with the run and was able. Yeah, and he had some great throws early on. And they also had their best defender go down early. So some of that.
Interesting comment in the chat. I want to get your guys' opinion. Eddie Varnes Fishing says the mesh doesn't work as good on grass. The turf really helps backs with their cuts, and the numbers show it in their road games. I wonder if that's true, and I also wonder if it's a sloggy surface. That really does help.
Let's go.
I looked up Hartman's numbers road and home, and he throws it just as well on the road. That's
He's
not
just good, man.
Yeah, he's not going to change much, but it could. I could see that especially if it's nasty, it could be hard for those guys to get going.
Slop fest. I hope we line up. I've changed my opinion in show. I think we're going to run the hell out of the ball. I think we're going to be able to run the ball. I hope we're able to run the ball. If not, that's a problem moving forward against NC State and Clemson. But yeah, I think
unless they're just hell bent on taking it away. But what I want to see, what I hope I see, but I understand it's going to be hard for some people to get here. Wake never goes on plays at a tough environment. Nobody cares when Wake comes to town ever. Clemson's always
they
will this weekend.
They had a tough environment last week at home.
Well, I know. So what I'm saying is,
had 15,000 people there.
I really want to see how those Wake kids handle a game where the other fan base is rabid and really into the game.
Well, I'm a little worried that just won't be the case this weekend.
I know, which is a bummer, right?
Yeah, that really is a bummer. And again, we understand there are more important things than football. I feel like I have to give the obligatory.
But that's a decided home field
caveat.
advantage. And Wake doesn't feel that ever. Some of these other teams, like Florida State, they're used to going playing in a road game that's a tough environment. Wake isn't.
Just knock on wood, people can get here and have, because that would say a lot of great things. Everybody
come
made
up
it through
tonight,
the storm and all that stuff. Yeah. I remember some recruit last year who decommitted from FSU on signing day. Can't remember his name because I haven't heard anything about him, while at the same time FSU is now 4-0 and on TV every week. Any idea whatever happened to that kid?
Good question. He's played in 1 of 4 games. I guess he's injured. So.
Yep.
Michael writes, hardcore Silver Fox in Jeff, and he misspelled my name, and I think intentionally.
We spelled it like the Georgia Tech coach?
He did, yeah.
Geoff.
Yeah, that's the way clowns
Brady
spell
said
the
you
name,
can't
Jeff.
trust anybody with their name. Brady said that.
Yeah, well,
Geoff. I think that's correct.
What do you think the history of it spelled that way is from?
No doubt, like circus clowns and carnies. And,
it's probably just the carnies.
Yeah.
Jeff Bodine.
Who the Motel 6 guy?
Saturday night in Doak felt like I had quantum leap back to the late 90s or the historic 2013 season as FSU wiped the puke off our shoes and stumbled out from behind the dumpster. Oh, yeah, my analogy all the time about being. Yeah, I think they have for sure. I think they're now upright. They're walking in with confidence, ordering without much of a problem.
Going into job interviews with a
feeling good,
clean
shaven. Yeah. They're feeling pretty good. They've cleaned up a little bit there, Michael. I think so. Nelson writes, how many games, real talk, does Jordan Travis need to continue this level of play before we unironically start talking about a Heisman campaign? Woo!
He'd
to the heart of the matter.
He'd have to come back next season.
To the heart of the matter, Nelson.
He's too far away. He's not on the radar at all.
Hey. How quickly things change. Go 8-0.
Well,
the problem is
go 8-0 and tell me what we're talking about.
Look, Corey, we have one of the 12,000 Heisman voters right here in our midst.
Well, he's got it's him and Brock Bowers, the kid from Georgia, are my two.
Well,
my two
sorry,
favorites right now.
Jordan. I'm going to break the news to you now.
Yeah,
but here's the thing: it's geographical. So there's so many voters in California and the mid. They have no idea. They don't even know who Jordan Travis is because they're never on game day. They're never on.
I think that's not true. Jordan Travis is a known person now because the LSU game, because the Louisville game, and those games.
Maybe.
He's a known person, and let him screw around and go for 400 yards against Clemson in a win. All of a sudden, he would at least be.
I just think
on
so
the
many
Heisman watch list.
Those awards are really won the year before. I mean,
a lot of times they are. I will say, the hype train, we all know, and it's not even a clearly defined award. All that's true. I do think that his one shot of beginning to gain that kind of momentum would be
to have a fake dead girlfriend.
No.
Well, a fake girlfriend that comes down with a malady.
Some sort of, like maybe she loses a limb.
A limb, yeah. And he's never met her, but we don't know that. But he's playing for
desperately
her.
wants to fly there after the shark attack.
Yeah, after the shark bite.
But here's what I'm saying. If you beat Wake, who's ranked, NC State on the road at night prime time, who's ranked in the top 10 currently, and Clemson, man, if Florida State's 8-0 and they were not even projected to be a top 25 team and they were supposed to finish fourth in the damn Atlantic, yes, his name will be on the radar. I don't think he would win it, but his name would be on the radar. People would, think about the chatter of 8-0.
Tom asked if was Jameis on the radar before Clemson.
Yeah.
But here's the other part about that.
That vaulted him, but he was
already on the radar.
Top. Yeah.
And he put up crazy numbers. Like, I don't know if George's going to put up crazy numbers.
Yeah, Jordan
that was his first 300-yard passing game.
And Jordan has 5 touchdown passes on the year, which not through. I mean, they've scored a ton of touchdowns, but you 5 touchdowns. Sam Hartman had more than that against Clemson.
But if the efficiency rating stays that high and they go undefeated through these games, I do think that some announcer somewhere is going to go, Jordan Travis deserves some consideration here, guys. And then somebody will say, it's a good point, and they'll keep moving.
Yeah,
but I mean, he'll get mentioned.
He's not going to New York, but he could definitely put himself in contention for ACC Player of the Year.
And in the era of the NIL, you pay him a couple mil to come back and dominate.
And then he's a Heisman
year.
candidate.
We're not saying Rising Spear. We're just saying,
hey guys,
you need to get Jordan Travis back.
Start getting some guys rolling here. Yep. Yeah, absolutely. Seminole Headlines 93.3 Real Talk Radio Warchant TV continues in a moment.
Your local news now.
Leon County Emergency Management Director activated the Emergency Operations Center for the county at a press conference among city and county leaders Monday in preparation for Hurricane Ian. Director Kevin Peters said Ian exposes Leon County to significant wind threats for a long period of time as early as Wednesday evening. The storm will also bring moderate rainfall of 4 to 6 inches. Mayor John Daly said that the city crews are working to clear debris ahead of landfall to avoid damage to infrastructure across the city. Citizens will be updated to the minute on electrical outages that occurred during the storm through the DigiTally app. All public utilities utility workers and first responders will be dispatched immediately following the storm to assess damages, and the city's utility is working to assess and harden the power grid. Superintendent Rocky Hanna said they are preparing 7 of their schools to serve as storm shelters if needed. You can download the Leon County Citizens Connect mobile app for timely emergency notifications like shelter locations, road closures, and service changes. This is Rachel Lene with your Real Talk 93.3 local news update, brought to you by Macklemore Systems, Tallahassee's go-to Mac store. They will be moving to a new location October 3rd. Check them out online at MacklemoreSystems.com.
This is meteorologist Paul Trombley with your Real Talk 93.3 weather update. More clouds than sun this afternoon with daytime highs approaching 85. North winds 8 to 15 miles per hour. Lows around 63 tonight, overcast. High of 76 tomorrow. Slight chance for scattered showers. Chance for scattered showers Thursday with a chance for scattered storms Friday. Highs in the low 70s. This report is brought to you by The Lawn Johns. For all your landscaping and lawn care needs, visit thelawnjohns.com. Right now, 83.
Whether you're looking to get back into an old sport or just want to spend more time outdoors to explore all life has to offer in our beautiful city, the dedicated team at Tallahassee Orthopedic Clinic is here for you every step of the way. Now, scheduling an appointment has never been easier. Just visit teamtoc.com and click schedule online.
Your next chance to win $1,000 is coming up at 3 p.m. Don't miss your chance to shake the 93.3 money tree and see what falls out. Planted by the law offices of Basic Brooks. Come back stronger with Basic Brooks.
Life is stressful. Dinner shouldn't be. That motto is why Register Sausage has been doing business in the Florida Panhandle and Lower Alabama for over 75 years. A proud sponsor of Seminole Headlines, Register Sausage always provides the best Southern smoked sausage to over 140 grocery stores and restaurants throughout the Southeast. Headliners have discovered the Register's difference. You can too. To find a store that carries Registers near you or to buy directly, head to registermeats.com. That's registermeats.com. Register Sausage. Yay, sausage!
Here's what you missed on the Greg Tish Show.
There's a TikTok that's going viral because of a butter softening method. They are putting the Vermont Creamery butter in the waistband of her pants. Give it 5 minutes. You can go and measure out your ingredients, and then your butter is ready to go. You cannot do this in Florida.
No.
Because your pants will be full of butter in 2 minutes. Somebody try it. Post on TikTok.
Unless it says juicy across the back.
The Greg Tish Show, Monday through Friday, 6 to 9 a.m., only on Real Talk 93.3.
Seminole Headlines returns now. Head to YouTube and search for Warchant TV today to catch the show live or on demand. Now, here's Jeff Cameron, Ira Schofel, and Corey Clark.
Not necessarily an FSU question, but did Winston break Jimbo Fisher? Obviously, there were critiques and downsides to his offense all along, but man, those Ponder and EJ offenses were productive. And in his OC days here, he was rather imaginative in how well he moved the ball. Seems like Winston left him. His team's got boring as hell to watch, and everything is so labored. And now, by the way, they've lost their best receiver you saw for the year.
No, I didn't see that.
Oh, yeah, he's gone for the year.
And they already
lost another guy already. So, and that offense sucked with those guys. So
he got lucky as hell to win that game.
Yep.
Yeah, that crazy play at the goal line. But they did win. So again, they're 3-1 or whatever, and they're ranked. So, but they got
that close win against Miami doesn't look real good. I mean, my goodness gracious,
nothing A&M's done really looks great, but they're still 3-. So I think he feels validated because they're ranked and they got the record they have. He doesn't want to. It's crazy though that offense is that bad.
Andrew writes, somewhere late Saturday night, Steve Adazio sat in a lounge, swirling a vintage Bordeaux, awaiting a late-night pastry. A slight smirk as he thought about some of the great O-lines he put together at Boston College. When he catches the eye of Manny Diaz across the bar, pounding a Miller Lite, the two men give each other a knowing nod as if to say, so they fired us so they could have this kind of a Saturday, did they?
Who was that?
That was well written, and it was by Andrew.
Good work, Andrew.
Yep.
Where is Adazio?
He's with
analyst,
Jim.
somebody, right?
I thought he was with Jimbo.
He might be with Jimbo.
He's with Jimbo, yeah.
Okay.
And Manny Diaz is with Penn State, doing really good things
Penn
there
State,
right now. Yeah.
They've been 4-0, 5 of the last 6 years. That was on the bottom line scroll after their win today. That's crazy.
I like watching that team play right now. They're kind of quietly really good in the Big Ten. We'll see. I
haven't watched Penn State play since LeVar Arrington was there, but they put up good records occasionally.
Maybe Manny really was sabotaging them. He's a Nole.
Secretly.
That whole plan.
Court writes, very excited to get the commitment from Hakeem Williams, but when we consider guys like George Campbell, Ermon Lane, and Fred Rouse, is there another position group that we've seen as many highly rated recruits fail to live up to the hype than wide receiver?
I actually looked it up when we were doing the story about Hakeem, and I thought, man, when's the last time they had a 5-star receiver? And I was going to put that in the story, and I realized
those other guys.
Campbell.
They weren't great names. Yeah, before that it was Ermon Lane and Travis Rudolph. Like Travis Rudolph had a nice career, but none of those other guys.
Yeah, but Ermon ended up being a nice defender for a season.
Yeah.
We forget.
I think it's a big, very much like, we've written about it several times and talked about it a lot. But when Jimbo got the commitments from LaMarcus Joyner and Jeff Luke ended up leaving, didn't play here, went to Cincinnati or somewhere.
Right.
But his commitment was a big deal.
Yeah.
And I think Hakeem Williams' commitment is a big deal.
I agree with that. And you saw what happened with the last guy that didn't come here. We did get Sam McCall because of him. So, I mean, it does happen, at least in terms of –
Zaire Thomas.
Oh, I thought it was McCall.
No, McCall was early.
Okay.
Yeah, Zaire was the
one,
day of, yeah.
Yeah, so either way, you get a guy that was hooked to that other recruit, and it does create momentum in recruiting. Brian writes, how excited are you guys to keep that trip to Syracuse every other year? That came out of nowhere.
It's
like
the three,
Syracuse.
the pack, the 3-pack of games. Yeah,
so they might be a problem, though.
Yeah, they're 4-0,
They play with a lot of confidence. They're pretty tough on defense.
I think they are a problem.
They know what they are.
Yeah, and they'll
and they seem to be getting some lucky
I had jotted
bounces.
that down as a win.
Right.
And now you have to reconsider that at least it's a hard-fought game. What percentage chance, writes Trev, do you give Travis coming back next year?
That's what we were recording. I was talking during the break about all the machinations that need to happen. Like how much NIL money might play into a factor, which is, again, this is the great thing, is that this is at least an option. And then B, you've got some guys on this team that are going to have decisions to make. And you can see a situation like Clemson the year where they decided to run it back, or the Florida basketball team where they decided to run it back.
Hated both those decisions.
Yes,
wow. Did y'all know?
Maybe it could happen for Florida State.
We'll get back to this answer in a second because I do want to chime in on that. But so Syracuse is going to be 5-0 because they're about to play Wagner.
Mm-hmm.
After that, they have NC State,
just spitting on
Wagner,
Wagner,
at Clemson, Notre Dame, at Pitt, Florida State. Those are
their
next 5
stretch
games.
there. That'll really, guys, I don't know if you thought about it, but when you look at that portion of their schedule, Corey, that'll really decide the kind of season they're going to have.
You think that's a pivotal stretch for the Orange?
That really will.
So you'll be playing them after they just played NC State, Clemson, Notre Dame, and Pitt back to back. So we'll know much more about Syracuse.
Notre Dame might be the easiest one in there.
Yeah, that's crazy.
We may win that game 58-0 based on those stats. Which you just told me with the schedule. That's
with Travis, we don't know where he'll be drafted, what he's projected to be drafted by. He is an old kid. I mean, he'll be his 6th year, right? He's 22, 23 years old. But if you can sell, man, number one, here's a lot of money to come play college football. One last year. The draft will be there next year. This money won't be. So take advantage of that. That's a selling point if he cares. But also, you really could, if he finishes out this year and they're 9-3 and he puts up nice stats and contends for ACC Player of the Year, you can market him as an All-American potential Heisman Trophy candidate.
And you would get some impressive transfers wanting to come in to play with him.
It all comes down to how he projects in the draft. That's all it is. If the NFL comes back.
What if they say he's a 6th-round pick?
Well, that's my point. If the NFL comes back and says, great season, you're a great college quarterback, the perception of teams in this league, and you may prove them wrong, is that you're a 6th or 7th rounder, which tells me you're going to end up on a practice squad.
What would Jeff Cameron do? What would you advise?
So if you get drafted in the 7th round,
6th or 7th round,
and you're going to be on a practice squad, and I can make $2 million in NIL here, I'm coming back here. But if they say 3rd round or better, you probably got to go to the league, man. You got to go to the league. So it really does come down to what his draft status is.
And look, I'll say this:
fourth or lower, you're probably considering strongly.
Yeah, that's a tough one. I mean, that's a tough one. Like, what kind of bonus could I get? If I'm 4th round,
not much, not $2 million. And I'll say it right here, Jordan. I know you watch. I'll throw in 50. So now we're at $2 million, $50.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
So now we're at $2 million and 50. And I don't know if you guys want to add a little bit
That's
to the
kitty
old
as well. Eddie Murphy joke. You remember him talking about Johnny Carson and Johnny Carson's wife when they go through the divorce?
Oh, yeah.
She had a job as a secretary. It's like, I know you make $2 million a year, but here's my $50. Now we have $2,050. Yeah. So I do think it really is interesting because this was not on the radar. for any of us. None of us would have thought about this before the season, even if you were an advocate for Jordan.
But he was, because he was asked at media day.
Sure. Well, I mean, a player better have faith in himself.
And
sure.
he was planning on this being his last year.
But what I'm saying is, though, again, like he is now legitimately playing his way into a situation where this is going to be a real consideration. Also, the league has changed, and it's benefited guys like Jordan. I'm glad it has. It's not so stuffy anymore. The offenses have changed. I mean, we've seen mobile quarterbacks, guys that can really light it up on the ground, go to the NFL and have success and move offenses and sustain season in, season out success. So,
but man, he would have a chance to be a star. There is no guarantee he ever takes a snap in the NFL.
That is correct. I think the likelihood is that he
star.
doesn't project real high in the draft at all.
Yeah.
And that if you could ensure he can become a millionaire while leading a team that has a chance to be really good because of him and the kinds of players you'll bring in, you have to seriously consider it.
And I would say this, man, all the money that's being thrown around for prospects.
Yeah.
I mean, that dude should get, paid.
Look, man, I'll make it 100. I don't know. Again, you guys don't have to come with me.
I might match your 100.
$2 million and $100.
Yeah, thank you.
Well,
man.
now
We're making it rain on the screen.
I'm matching it.
Okay, so now that's $200 extra dollars.
$200.
Yeah,
I'm a journalist with a capital J. I can't jump into that.
I don't know what I did here. I think I clicked off of something.
I like it.
I like the money raining down.
Good work, Matthew.
Bill wants to know if the punter can kick it through the uprights. We've never seen him kick. Have we? A field goal?
Don't they in Australian rules football, aren't they kicking all the time?
You would think.
Like kicking through posts. I mean, I know they kick, but isn't that the game where they come out and do the Yeah, so he's probably kicked it through posts before.
Not on the ground.
With either foot. That's a good point. You can drop kick it, right? Is that still a rule?
You can drop kick it. I think you can drop kick it, yeah.
Well, that might
Didn't
be something
somebody
to
do
think about.
that recently?
I mean,
didn't
Doug
Harbaugh do that at Michigan one time? Have somebody do that in a game? I think
I remember Doug Flutie trying it way long ago.
Austin writes, gentlemen, this team reminds me a little bit of the FSU basketball team. It's a different playmaker every week, and you can tell the players deeply care about one another.
That's good.
With that said, do you think that style of a different guy each week can still attract top talent, or is it all about NIL thoughts?
I was wondering about that as well. I was wondering, like, if you're a big time receiver running back, do you look at what they're doing on offense and think, man, that's awesome, we're all going to eat? Or do you look at it like, you could do your eat thing, Corey. This is what Corey does in the press box.
Yeah.
Or would you rather go where you're going to be featured?
Man, I would think if I'm a 5-star running back, and I had a really devastating knee injury. I wanted to go to a school that wouldn't wear my ass out so I could go play in the NFL.
As a running back, I understand that. As a receiver, I doubt it.
Their receivers are built different, but they just always want the ball thrown to them.
But that's why Ira's question about receivers to the head coach was funny.
But running backs, man, I think a running back would be appreciative of 16 carries a game or 14 carries a game and not 30.
I wonder.
I agree with that as a running back. I think the modern running back comes into a system now. They understand they don't want to be worn out in college. I mean, you're trying to get to the league. But as a receiver, I think you want to be featured. That said, if you are a game-changing receiver, you will be featured. The bottom line is if you're an elite game changer, then that quarterback's going to find you. I mean, you're going to get open. You're going to beat double teams. You're going to do all that stuff. Assuming Jordan plays this continual elite level with a 10-win season. Oh, well, questions about draftability with Jordan.
And real quick, Scott says it in the chat. It attracts the right kind of players. And I would say that's exactly going back to Leonard Hamilton.
Yeah.
What he's been able to do. The fact that Scotty Barnes didn't care that he wasn't going to shoot 25 times a game, or Patrick Williams, they embraced that mindset. And you could probably do the same thing in football.
Think about how cool it is that Scotty Barnes was that way, knowing now what we know in terms of the season he had.
Yeah, he's pretty talented.
Well, I mean, just that he got to the league and started destroying people. I mean, from day one.
He started for the Raptors, but didn't start for Florida State.
Yeah. I mean, that's like, I remember the first week of last year's NBA season, you're sitting there watching, he dunked on somebody in like the second game. Like, look at this. Dude took off from like the first.
Patrick Williams, too.
Yeah. And I hate that he's been hurt. If he can get healthy again, I'd like to see because he was.
Yeah, he was ascending.
Mobile. Yeah, he was ascending. That's it. That's all, boys. We're out of time. For Corey Clark and Ira Chaffel, I'm Jeff Cameron.
Taking my shirt off.
No.
No, okay.
Stay safe, everyone.
Rules and regulations in the building.
Understood.
Yeah. Stay safe, guys. We'll keep you up to date all week long. Don't forget warchant.com. Right now, it's still just $1, right? Still just $1.
2 more days.
Running out of time. Let's go.
Please
get it done. It's just $1. Let's go. Get it done. JCS returns tomorrow and all the great stuff on Warchant every day. Wake up Warchant as well. Be good, everybody. Take care. Good job, Matthew.
Regularly.
Oh, 4 rounds to none. It's over. It's over.